Welcome, everyone, to the Fandom Podcast Network special presentation of Time Warp, where we cover the movies and pop culture of an entire year, month by month. In each of these year's episodes of Time Warp, we're going to cover the 35th anniversary of 1990 as of this recording. 1990 pop culture, which includes the movies, TV shows, music, and other notable news events. The 1990 movies, pop culture, and events are all celebrating their 35th anniversary. Welcome to Time Warp here on the Fandom Podcast Network, and we are discussing the month of November of 1990. This is, of course, the Fandom Podcast Network and Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback Show. My name is Kevin, and I'm going to be your host. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-host after I tell you to check out the QR code. If you're watching the video on YouTube on the Fandom Podcast Network, go ahead and click that link there. It'll take you to all of our awesome shows on the Fandom Podcast Network. But let's go ahead and get in my time traveling crew here. Let's welcome my co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network, Mr. Kyle Wagner. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, it is the month of November, which means I had a tryptophan dream where I was home alone and I started dancing with some wolves. Then I had to go down under to do some rescuing, which I found as easy as Child's Play times 2.
You're getting pretty good on those, Kyle. I see what you did there. That's good stuff, man. Spoiler alert. I love it. Good stuff. And of course, we cannot do Time Warp without our other co-host here. Please welcome the Queen of Movie Foo, Lacey. How are you?
It's been a rocky day.
We also would like to say, too, this is the month of November, which means a happy Thanksgiving to all of you that are sharing that. We hope you're having a good time with your family.
Avoid turkey drop.
What's that?
I said avoid turkey drops.
Yes, please avoid the turkey drop. You do not want to be anywhere near Cincinnati right now. That's true.
Our family did trivia last night at Mel Mushroom, and one of the questions was, what sitcom talked about the turkey drop? Yeah, we came in third. Hey.
This is the movies of 1990 here on Time Warp. We're also going to be talking about some of the TV shows here. So make sure you guys sit back and relax. And we want to remind you that there's other great shows on the Fandom Podcast Network regarding Time Warp. We also went back in time and discussed the Raiders players who acted in movies and TV, if you're a football fan. We also did a nice Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series retrospective. And last year, celebrating the 40th anniversary, covered the entire year of 1984. There was lots of hits and bangers. Make sure you go check out that 12 episode series of all the time warps for 1984. But we are discussing 1990. Everything is celebrating its 35th anniversary. And we are almost at the end here. We've had some wonderful, great shows. But this month, we want to stop at November and let you know what is happening in the month of November of 1990. So let's first of all take a step back into that 1990 by fueling up that DeLorean with a flux capacitor, a slingshot around the sun aboard that captured Klingon bird of prey. Take a step into that blue police box or phone booth. Step into that quantum leap accelerator, or my favorite, take a dip in that hot tub time machine as we travel back to 1990. We're going to remind you what was happening in pop culture, sports, politics, television, and of course, the movies of 1990. All right. Now, one thing we've had a little fun with this show, too, and we'll remind you later in the show that a lot of these 90 films were filmed in 80, 89, probably 88, something like that. And some of them feel 80s. Some of them feel like they're now making themselves the 90s. A lot of stuff happened back in 1990. But we're going to talk a little bit of world news. But what's interesting about the world news we have here, we have a little bit of tech stuff to talk about here. So the first thing, Kyle, I don't know if you remember this, though, but apparently November is the earliest known portable digital camera that's sold in the United States. And I got a picture of it here on YouTube. The Logitech Photoman Digicamera, RA digital camera, monochrome digital camera, first truly digital cameras. And it has the resolution, and it says, was it 1 megabytes of internal RAM? This one came from Switzerland, 1990. Kyle, I don't remember seeing these. Do you guys remember these early digital cameras? Was this in our brain, or we just still using film?
I don't remember seeing these, but I think there's still some YouTubers who use it.
I remember we had like the one guy in the neighborhood that had he had the DeLorean, and he had like
So he was rich and he had the tech.
Yeah, he always
gotcha.
had all the new devices.
Well, here's an interesting about technology here, guys. November 13th, the first known web page is written. And if you look at the picture, it's kind of funny because there's like an old computer console. It says this machine is a server. Not was it say not it down or something like I can't see what it says on
Do
the
not,
screen.
do not power it down.
Don't power it down. In late 1990, a Next NEXT computer at CERN carried a bold message: do not power it down. It was the host of the world's first website, launched on December 20th to spark the lit of the World Wide Web. So there you go. Kyle,
Kevin, I'm just going to say, now we know where John Connor's going to end up.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. Let me get back to the next one here. So this was a big one here, guys. I remember this. November 19th through the 21st, the leaders of Canada, United States, and 32 European states meet in Paris to formally mark the end of the Cold War. Didn't stop some good movies and stuff still going on about that. Spies.
Well, they were still filming, so I think they just knew they had to finish it out.
But it did declassify a lot of people to write things like novels and things that would become movies.
Yeah. And I think the Soviets were like, oh, this is great. Well, that'll just be easier to get into the States and spy, like the Americans TV series. So yeah.
Well, we all know that The Experts was a documentary.
Yeah, exactly. The Experts. Well, let's get into some 90s toys, tech, and products. Now, I grew up in a warm weather area state for most of the year. It was anyway. And I'm sure, Kyle, you experienced that when you finally moved from Alaska to Florida. And you being in Georgia a lot of the time there, Lacey, and some in California. Well, when you played water gun fights, you had to step up your game here, guys. And that was when the Super Soaker was introduced. Super Soaker's American brand of recreational water gun that used manual pressurized air to shoot water with great power, range, and accuracy than conventional squirt pistols. The Super Soaker was invented in 1989 by engineer Lonnie Johnson. The prototype combined PVC pipe, acrylic glass, and an empty plastic soda bottle. Originally sold by Laramie, it is now produced by Hasbro under the Nerf brand. Super Soaker had generated more than $1 billion in total sales. The first Super Soaker went on sale in 1990. It was originally called the Power Drencher. Rebranded the name to Super Soaker occurred in 1991 together with a series of TV advertisements that resulted in 2 million water guns being sold. This was a game changer, guys.
Very much so. In fact, I believe either the Toys That Made Us or there was another toy documentary on Amazon did a whole episode on the Super Soaker that was quite interesting. The bad part was in the 1990s, I was in high school by then, and it took a while for the Super Soaker to come up. What I do remember, though, before the Super Soaker was another brand of water guns called Entech or Intertech, and they all look like military weapons to the point so much that they had to get banned because they looked too realistic.
Of course they did, yeah. I just remember pumping that thing as much as you could. And you had to be careful not to break the pump, You had to kind of stop when you thought it was pretty good. But yeah, man, that upped the game. That was a lot of fun.
It would get tight on you and you think, I can get it one more time. And then you'd feel the thing snap.
And it was great when you're near a pool because you just instantly reload all the time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So, I remember them not being allowed at our pool, like the swimming.
I'm sure they got banned in a lot of places.
But we didn't have those. That's not something that we...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The next one here, I don't know if I remember this one, Kyle. The Amstrad GX4000 video game console. It was manufactured by Amstrad. It was the company's short-lived attempt to enter the game console market. The console was released in Europe in 1990. It was upgraded, designed based on the then still popular CPC technology. It shared hardware architecture with the Amstrad CPC Plus computer line, which was released concurrently. This allowed the system to be compatible with the majority of CPC Plus software. It was the only attempt for them at entering the console market, although offered enhanced graphics and capabilities that failed to gain the popularity in the market. It was quickly discontinued, selling 15,000 units in total. It looks pretty cool, Kyle, but I don't know why that didn't catch on.
What was it called again?
It's long.
Yeah,
GX
that's why it didn't catch
4000.
on. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why it didn't catch on. Because it's not going to know to say, I want the X4 2732 8 height. Whoop.
What you're saying is it should have had a cool name.
Yeah, call it Steve, whatever. Just make it something easy for a kid to ask for.
Yeah.
No, this is real simple. It didn't say Nintendo or Sega on it, so it wasn't never going to fly.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, probably it did fly. It just didn't actually work.
So regarding games, guys, this is the last bit of our toys and tech here. At the ATAX video game, or ATAX video game, is a strategy video game published in arcades by Leland Corporation in 1990. 2 players compete on a 7x7 square grid. The object of the game was for a player to have a majority of pieces on the board at the end by converting as many of his opponent's pieces as possible. In a single player game, the opponents are, quote, bio invaders from a different dimension. The concept was invented earlier by Dave Krumuk and Craig Galley for the release of 1988 video game Infection. Virgin Mastertronic licensed it to Leland, as well as using its design in its own spot. The video game released the same year as Attacks. There are numerous independent developed clones. Although Attacks was sold as a video game and not as a physical board game, it can be played with a reversey set. I feel like I've seen this video game cover before because it's quite...
bizarre.
It's something you would see on the cover of the Heavy Metal magazine, the adult illustrated magazine. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm just going to give you props for finding maybe the 2 most obscure video game references of the 1990s.
But also it looks like Drogo from Farscape is chilling out in the back there.
I can see. Yeah, you're right. It does look like
Dargo action.
Dargo, sorry. I'm names, whatever.
Well,
also, this I remember vaguely, and it was like, why I can play Othello with the board that I have.
Let's check out some birthdays. All right, this is November 1990 Time Warp, and we like to celebrate some birthdays of some famous peoples that you may recognize or may not recognize. The month of November, we have Kendall Schmidt, we have Jean-Luc Bilodeau, Bowen Yang, Saturday Night Live actor and comedian, Kathleen Herliss, voice actress for Dora and the Explorer, Shanika Knowles from Hannah Montana, Sarah Hyland, actress from Modern Family, I know who she is, singer Rita Ora, and Diego Boneta from Scream Queens and Underemployed. And we also have some celebrity deaths, a few here that we have that you may or may not know. We have, first of all, Mary Martin died at 76. She was a singer and actress known for Peter Pan. Eve Arden died at 82, actress for Our Miss Brooks. And David White died at 74, actor Larry Tate on Bewitched. There you go.
Eve Arden, I want to say she was better known as the principal from Grease.
Okay.
Gotcha. That's probably a little bit more.
Yes, you're. Yeah, I would know that face more. Yes, that's a good call. All right, let's go ahead and get into some music, guys. We always like to throw out some music news that was hitting around this time in 1990 of November. And I remember this one, November 6th, Madonna releases her new single, Justify My Love. The accompanying music video is banned on MTV amid international controversy over its sexually explicit content. I remember that very well. Yeah.
This is when Madonna basically kept her career going via shock value.
Yeah. Yes.
I had one album from Madonna, and that was it. Like, I had the first one, and it's funny because that's kind of how I ended up becoming friends with her brother, is because I was the only person at the party who was like, "Oh my God, you're her brother." Like, I'll talk to you. Come on.
What was her brother's name?
Christopher.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Ciccone. Mm-hmm. Nice guy. Passed away this past year.
Lacey Hobsnod with lots of cool people.
I lived in LA for like a year and a half, and all of a sudden it was,
they're all around. Yeah. Well, next we have, and November 21st, the Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger finally marries longtime girlfriend Jerry Hall in a traditional Hindu ceremony on the island of Bali. Although the wedding's legality is questionable. I seem to remember hearing about that, and I always remember Jerry Hall from Batman '89.
Yeah,
Kyle.
but here's the thing: Jerry Hall's probably later on really was glad that the legality of the wedding was probably questionable.
Why?
Because Mick did her wrong, if you remember correctly. Mick traded her in for a younger model.
Oh yeah,
right. But if the wedding, I mean, if it was legal, then she probably would have gotten more, in the divorce.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't realize that there was like a deal about the legality of their marriage. So that's interesting. Well, we've teased this and we've talked about it in a full segment, and it dragged out all the way through November here. 1990, November 27th, amid growing public skepticism towards the artistic integrity of the dance pop duo Milli Vanilli, as well as creative differences with frontman Fab Moran and Rob Pilatus, music producer Frank Farian admits that Moran and Pilatus had been lip syncing all of their songs, including hits such as Girl, You Know It's True. In actuality, the tracks are composed and recorded by an ensemble as much older than these artists. Milli Vanilli's Grammy Award for Best New Artist is voided. In the ensuing fallout, accounts vary to whether it was revoked or if Morvan and Pilatus returned it themselves. Well, they did have a video of them showing them returning it. Here it is and stuff like that. But
look at his face, the guy on the left. I don't know their names, much less which one's which. But on the left, the guy, he just looks so like whatever.
I think that's Fab on the left and Rob on the right. Yeah, Rob was the one that unfortunately passed away. But I've said before, I think it's now on Peacock. I got on DVD. Make sure you check out the bio pic about them called Girl, You Know It's True. And they had two wonderful actors portray them. And then they had an actor doing the Frank Farian, and it goes through their whole thing. And it's done in a really, really cool way. Also in a way that also pays tribute to them as well for all the crap that they had to go through and the drugs and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you check it out. Girl, You Know It's True.
Okay.
Definitely good.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's get into some Billboard Top 100. And this is the one that we kind of sometimes, a lot of the times, stymie Lacey here on these.
Yeah, this is Lacey time. That's all this is. But this is 1990. So, I mean, I was, junior in high school at this point. So music was a little bit more, I was a little bit more with the knowledge on, in 1990.
Well, with this being November, we're getting near the top 10. We're going to be discussing we're going to be showcasing number 21 through 12 here, guys. So check this out. So at 21, All Around the World by Lisa Stanfield. At number 20, Don't Know Much by Linda Ronstadt featuring Aaron Neville. 19, Release Me by Wilson Phillips. This one I know very well. Great song. 18, Black Velvet by Alana Miles. That was about Elvis Presley. 17, Close to You by Maxi Priest. 16, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You by Heart. 15, Escapade by Janet Jackson. 14, Opposites Attract by Paula Abdul. 13, Pump Up the Jam. Pump it up. Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic. At number 12, How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? Michael Bolton. Lacey, do you have any favorites from here?
Okay, I want to know if the one that All Around the World, is that the one that was like, I.
All Around the World, yes.
And I. Okay, I do know that one. Yeah. Don't know. Yeah, I do know Opposites Attract, but I know it because of the video. Because
the cartoon, yes.
The cartoon.
DJ Fat Cat.
Right, yeah. And I think I know the Michael Bolton song.
What's funny is the All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You song. I actually found that album recently at a thrift store, and my wife and I were talking about it because that is one of the songs by Heart, or one of the songs in general that tell a story all the way through it. Okay. And it's basically about this woman who meets this guy. They have instant sexual attraction and they make love in a hotel room. Ooh. And then she leaves with her as she is impregnated, and then keeps the baby, and then I think reunites with the guy later on. and we're thinking like, wow, what was Mary and what was the other girl from Heart? What were they thinking when they wrote this? Blah blah blah. And found out the song's written by Mutt Lange, famous record producer, and he was the one who married Shania Twain and then cheated on her with her friend.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, Kyle, was any of these that jump out at you here?
Okay. Honestly, this is a pretty epic list. I mean, I know all of these songs, but there is one song on here that to this day is one of the sexiest songs of all time, and that is Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
Dude, right? That video too.
Oh, I mean, to this day, I love that song. Her voice was incredible. She should have been bigger. I don't know why she didn't get bigger. This song was just so big that
she had a great voice and a tone to it too. Yeah.
But I mean, you've got a timeless Janet Jackson song in Escapade. You've got a top Paula Abdul song. Pump Up the Jam is still a club song to this day. Michael Bolton, they kind of exploded it in 1990. I mean, you had Wilson Phillips, who was on the rise. I love the song Close to You by Maxi Priest. I mean, and All Around the World by Lisa Stanfield. I still hear that pop up on the 80s, 90s mixes on satellite radio, and it's still a great song. But yeah, Black Velvet is just on an entirely other level than any of these other songs.
Sometimes when y'all talk about music, I feel like that meme of the little girl with the blonde pigtails with the big puffy pink jacket going.
Well, that Wilson Phillips album blew up, and
it was
I'm just going to tease right now. We're going to see them again in the next set of songs. That was a huge album, but I'm with you on that Black Velvet song and whatever happened to Alana Miles. That song was sexy. It had a great beat to it. It was awesome. And Pump Up the Jam. I mean, how many times have you heard that in like commercials too? I think, or sports arenas. Yeah, sports arenas use it all the time too. So yeah, definitely. All right, guys, what do you say we get in some TV? Let's do that. All right, we're celebrating 1990 here in November of Time Warp here in our entertainment news. We're going to be discussing some television shows of the 1990s, specifically of this month here. And let's go ahead and bring this back to the stage here. Here we go. So here's some notable news here. Some very important casting on SNL here. November 10th, Chris Farley, Tim Meadows, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, David Spade, Julia Sweeney join the cast of Saturday Night Live. That is a banger cast there, Kyle.
I'm going to go hot take right now. This is the greatest cast of Saturday Night Live since the original cast, and it has not been topped. There's been some great casts since this one, but I don't think any cast has topped this cast since.
Well, Mike Myers comes in soon after this, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah, you throw Mike Myers in there, but yeah, I mean,
otherwise, Ellen Cleghorn is already there. Phil Hartman is already there. And what's the other guy? The guy with the glasses in the middle, Franklin. He always
Al Franken.
Yeah, thank you, Al Franken. Thank you, Lacey. Yeah, Lacey, were you up on Silent Live during this time? Do you remember this cast?
Well, this is the cast that gave us Down by the River. This gave us the Church Lady. There's a lot of really big pieces for this, but I still feel like we're missing, the Will Ferrell and the
Sherry O'Terry and all that. Yeah.
No,
Tina Fey.
What's his name? Night at the Roxbury. The other brother.
Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan. Yeah, he's my favorite.
He was Mango too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And Monkey Bone. Oh, come on. Yes. So
the '90s had a good cast, good group of cast there. Kyle.
I just think from top to bottom, talent wise. I mean, you can throw in Mike Myers here because he wasn't long after this, but top to bottom, you look at this cast and you go, "Wow!"
Yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some good people in that one. All right, next we have this, guys. All right, the series finale of Charles in Charge airs its first run syndication. In the finale, Sarah puts on a show to raise money, and Charles directs while preparing for an interview to get into Princeton. Yeah, there we go. There's the picture right there, guys.
Yeah. Say what you will. Charles in Charge, syndicated, long life, and we won't talk about all the stuff that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, between Yeah, between the fact that he's like a raging with very angry things, and then the potential assaults and stuff, that just is not the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
But while it was running, we were watching. I remember I was anyway. Now this was big news, Kyle. We remember this. The last original episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse airs on CBS November 17th. Because in July of 1991, series star Paul Reubens is arrested for exposing himself in Sarasota, Florida, adult movie theater, prompting CBS to immediately stop airing its Playhouse reruns, which are originally intended to air until late 1991. The show was replaced by reruns of The Adventures of Raggedy Ann and Andy. And I just want to go on the record here, say if you haven't seen the latest or the last, I'm going to say, documentary with Paul Reubens, where he is interviewed about everything, including this, knowing that he was going to be dead soon after that because of the cancer that he was fighting during the interviews. It was very interesting, and he talked about this, and he talked about everything. Everything was on the table. I highly recommend you checking it out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a check out. I got to give full disclosure here. Basically, I live in Sarasota, Florida. It's Bradenton, Sarasota. They're like right on top of each other. So when this happened, I wasn't living down in Florida yet, but I had been here and knew a lot of people down here. And trust me, the town went a little crazy for a while when this happened.
Define crazy. What do you mean?
You had national media all over the place down here trying to find him and track him down. I mean, there was so much disappointment too, because he was.
I feel like, I mean, this was kind of the beginning of like a weird series of celebrity sex scandals / arrests / drunk driving / like it was like this, and then Nick Nolte DUI, and then the Rob
the Rob Lowe video earlier on, and then
it went from Pee Wee Herman to Hugh Grant, and then all of a sudden nobody cared about celebrities doing bad things.
Yeah, right. Absolutely right.
Yep. It's weird.
All right, next we have, and I remember this, although I didn't watch it when it first aired, but I did watch it on video later on. November 18th through the 20th, the 2-episode television miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's 1986 epic supernatural horror novel, It, premieres on ABC.
Nope.
Tim Curry,
yeah.
Love Tim Curry, absolutely not.
He was crazy. Yeah,
Lacey's
like I ain't touching the horror.
I can't even look at the screen right now. Like I keep like kind of waiting for you to change the slide.
Trust me, it's a little hard for Kevin too, because we're talking clown.
Yeah. Hey, I've stayed in a clown motel, so it doesn't bother me anymore. So there you go. All right, Kyle, this is your section here. I know you know this. November 22nd, The Undertaker makes his first World Wrestling Federation debut at the fourth annual Survivor Series pay-per-view event.
So I remember this as a kid. I remember the first Survivor Series because it became a Thanksgiving night tradition. And when they brought out The Undertaker, the audience reaction of like, oh my God, what am I seeing? Because this guy was so huge. And what's funny about it is, if you are a fan of professional wrestling now, the most respected wrestler in the history of wrestling might be The Undertaker. He lived the gimmick. He was considered he was the one guy back in the days when you had the really big wrestling war between WWE and WCW, and the old NWO thing was huge. He never left the WWE or WWF. He stayed loyal, and the man is just so incredibly highly respected by every professional wrestler. He lived the gimmick. He changed it up enough over the years that it never got stale. And many people consider him in his own right. He is considered on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling for a lot of people because of what he's done for professional wrestling. And truthfully, a great guy. And since he's retired, he's been doing these. He has a great podcast, and he's also doing these what they call dead man stands. They're one night stands. He usually does them before a wrestling event where he just goes on stage, tells a few jokes, tells some stories that people haven't heard yet, and it's just very cool.
I was going to ask if he was still with us, so that answers that question. So good.
He is actually also helping the WWE train wrestlers too.
That's good.
I feel like he does the occasional convention as well, because most.
I think the last convention he was at, he was $300 an autograph.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
good.
that's just silly. But I'm
Yeah,
just
all right.
I know that he does. I feel like I've seen his name at one of the conventions I've been to.
Oh yeah, he's been at several. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And,
prices for autographs and pictures have gone way up. I think
yeah.
Mark Hamill was charging around $600 the last time. It was crazy. All
Yeah.
right, let's get to the next bit of it. This is what we have our is it the TV debuts, and in November of 1990, we had Over My Dead Body on CBS, and it stars Edward Woodward, Jessica Lundy, Jill Tracy. Edward Woodward, yes, the Equalizer. Maxwell
Yeah.
Beckett, he played, worked for Scotland Yard as a researcher. Today, he's an author of mystery novels living in San Francisco. Somehow, everyone believes that he was an inspector, so that's why they call him. And it seems that he has been going through a slump. It seems that his books don't have the same spark with all they had before. And so I guess he meets this lady here, played by Jessica Lundy, who looks familiar. But I love the ad here that we're showing on YouTube here, and it says on CBS 9 p.m. Max has a new partner, whether he likes it or not. Over My Dead Body, new series. I have no memory of this show. Anybody?
Yeah, I feel like she's a ghost. I remember seeing this where like his first,
Hence, Over My Dead Body.
yeah, I think that was her, or maybe like the apartment he moved into, or something. I feel like she was the ghost, and that was why he couldn't get rid of her. Like he couldn't. I vaguely remember. I could be completely wrong, but
Well,
I vaguely remember saying.
The rest of the synopsis says, while he struggles to regain his form, Nikki Page, a reporter who is assigned to do mundane jobs, would like to be taken seriously, so that whenever there's a mystery, she turns to Max to help him solving it. Thinking it would make a good story, Max thinks Nikki is a nuisance, but hoping that their snooping around would be good material for the next novel goes wrong. So I don't think that's the case. I feel like that was a plot of another TV show.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I have no memory of this though. I'd be kind of curious to, maybe it's on YouTube, and go check it out. I'll do that. So
I love Edward Woodward. He's fantastic. I loved The Equalizer.
Yeah.
It's a huge, loved that. But
like that guy.
I'm with you, Kevin. No memory.
Well, we had some shows that were ending this year, as you mentioned, Charles in Charge and Pee-wee's Playhouse, but also we had Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, which started the previous year, and DuckTales original series, but it did return. It did return in 2017. So there you go. Well, we do have our top rated shows, and we split them up into groups, and we're getting near the top ones here. So the first one that we have here, and this was at number 4 overall, this was A Different World. It was on NBC, averaged about 17.5 million viewers. A group of students at a historically Black university struggle to make it through college. Creator Bill Cosby stars Jasmine Guy, Kadeem Hardison, Daryl M. Bell, Charnel Brown, Cree Summer, Don Lewis, Jada Pinkett Smith, Sinbad, and a plethora of others, Kyle.
For a show that was basically made so they could do something with Denise Huxtable, because oops, she was the Cosby kid who got herself a little angel heart trouble. So they exiled her. This show changed itself shortly after she left and managed to stay on the air for multiple years afterwards. Kadeem Harrison actually was a pretty big star at the time, and you had Jada Pinkett Smith, Sinbad, Don Lewis, who's gone, and Cree Summer, who both gone on to do phenomenal voice acting work. And a great cast, and let's not forget, season 1 of this had Marissa Tomei.
That's right. I was always a fan of the character that Cree Summer played. I always had a little crush on her, and then I found out too that she also done a lot of voiceovers, and she was also the voice of Penny of Inspector Gadget. I remember that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Also, too, Don Lewis, the voice of Mariner's mom on Lower Decks.
That's right. Yeah, Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah. Well, related to this, at number 5 was The Cosby Show. It was running long here, a little over 17 million viewers a week. Of course, we all know about this Huxtables, and of course, starred Bill Cosby, Felicia Rashad, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Tempest Bledsoe, Keisha Knight Pulliam, Sabrina LaBeouf, Lisa Bonet, Jeffrey Owens, and Raven Simone.
Yeah, we were well into The Cosby Show, having jumped the shark at this point.
Yeah. definitely. I remember Jeffrey Owens made some news in the last 5 to 10 years because he got a job at Trader Joe's because he had to find work. He wasn't getting working done. And some people kind of teased him at first, and a lot of people started praising him for finding working elsewhere. And as someone who works with Trader Joe's and has been with them for a long time, I respect that. So I appreciate that. Although I think he did have to quit because stuff just got too crazy and weird when he was working there. So yeah, but shout out to Jeffrey Owens. Appreciate that guy. So all right, next we have the final one for this top rated that we'll be discussing, and this is Murphy Brown.
Yay!
Made just under $17 million. 17 million. Sorry, not talking movies here. 17 million viewers, under 17 million viewers a week. Murphy Brown, the personal and professional misadventures of an opinionated but loved woman working as a television journalist. Of course, starring Candice Bergen, Faith Ford, Joe Rigobudo, Charles Kimbrough, Grant Shaw, just to name a few. I know they had a lot more on that cast there. Lacey, are you a fan of this show?
I loved Murphy Brown so much. The constant, I think the number of secretaries was something in the 300s. That was the running gag, was that she could never keep a secretary more than one.
Oh, that's funny. I never saw the show, so I didn't know.
Oh man, it was so good. It was so fun. And of course, Candice Bergen had been in so many, she always played these like kind of sultry characters. And this gave her she wanted to be like this is a hard hitting news journalist. And I think this really kind of is this is one of my favorite roles of hers. So.
I remember the controversy when she was being a single mom and she got called out by, was it Dan Quayle? I think it was.
Yep.
And boy, turned things around to make him look like an asshole,
I mean, it wasn't hard.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, don't mean that mama bear, baby. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that was dumb of him. Well, let's get into, how about we talk about some movies? All right, we are officially in the movie segment of Time Warp 1990 here on the Fandom Podcast Network. And if you're watching our video on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you. Please subscribe and share as well. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast, we appreciate that as well. Please do the same. Subscribe and share. Appreciate that. Well, here on Time Warp on the Fandom Podcast Network, we're, of course, discussing 1990. And we always like to celebrate celebrities' first appearance in movies, especially the ones that happened during this year. And a few of them here are Robert Carlyle in the movie Silent Scream, Kyle Chandler in The Color of Evening. And we've been discussing a lot of Kyle Chandler lately because all of us on this podcast have all been in the house recently watching and rewatching Friday Night Lights, to the extent that my wife hung out with Lacey in that room right there and watched several episodes while Kyle and I were off doing dude things and seeing dude movies.
Hey, y'all can watch dude movies all you want. We had 3, 3, and 7, and 6, and 42. It was great.
Hey, let's be honest. It was all about the 3, 3.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No.
Yeah, my wife has a huge crush on Taylor Kitsch, so yeah, that was happening. Also, Nick Chinlund from The Ambulance and Scott Cohen on Jacob's Ladder are the ones that round out this group. Yes, Lacey.
Kevin Connolly. Do we know who he is?
Oh, yes. Hold on. Kevin Connolly. Isn't he the one in The Mummy?
No, you're close. The guy who played the best friend on Entourage.
He was E on Entourage.
Yes. On Entourage. He is the kid, the bully in Rocky V that beats up his Rocky's son and steals his jacket.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that was his first. He looks like he was about 9.
Okay. Well, you should have saved that for when we get to Rocky V.
I figured it was from the debut. I feel like it was a debut.
I don't know. Maybe it is, but on this group, I don't know. So yeah.
I don't know. I'll look it up while we're doing the next one.
Let's go ahead and get into the movies. All right, here we go, guys. This is why we're here. We are going to discuss the movies that came out in 1990, November 1990, 35 years ago. And here's what I found. I was able to watch it on YouTube because I can't find the video anywhere, even though it was released, I believe, in overseas. And that is the movie called Kid, also known as Back for Revenge. A mysterious man returns to his former hometown to take revenge on the locals who murdered his parents when he was a boy. A young man known as the Kid returns to a small town, and there he gets revenge, but he gets friends with locals called Kate and Louie who befriend them, much to the annoyance of some of the town folk. And this stars C. Thomas Howell as the Kid, Sarah Trigger, and her brother in the TV movie, or in this movie, Brian Austin Green. And we have R. Lee Ermey, Dale Dye, and Michael Bowen as pretty much the villains in this one here. Did anyone else try to find and watch this, or am I the only one?
Well, I tried to find it to watch it again. I had seen it a million years ago. I used to have the VHS.
Oh wow!
I would watch this and The Wraith as a 2-pack.
That's a really good combo there.
Yeah, because they're both kind of like the revenge flicks. Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically C. Thomas Howell comes in town, and he's got a sharp looking haircut. He's got a nice little outfit on. He's got this cool
like you
long trench coat, right, Lacey? Yeah,
it's called a duster.
Duster, yes. And he's basically back there for revenge, and he takes it upon several people here in this small little dusty town. I believe it was filmed in Arizona, which also was where The Wraith was filmed. So it had a similar kind of look and feel to it. Yep. Thus, as you suggest, Lacey, would make a good double feature here. Yeah. I have no trivia on this one here, but I did want to mention after watching this, though, I thought this was really interesting with the cast here, guys, because R. Lee Ermey, for most of you may know, he's been in a lot of military movies, but he's mostly known as the really mean drill sergeant in the movie. Oh, Kyle, help me out here.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Thank you. And he's the one that gets killed in that one. And then you also have Dale Dye, who's been in a lot of movies as military people and also trains people how to be in the military. And more famously, for Saving Private Ryan, he put everyone through a boot camp there, and he also had a small part in it. Both of these guys were in this movie as villains, very good villains. It was weird to see them both in this. Kyle.
Just as another side note, within a year's time, Brian Austin Green is the biggest star in this movie.
I know, right? Yeah, he's so young in this, and he's known as his character's known as Metal Tommy or whatever, because he's a huge like metal fan, and he plays a lot of rock music in this Jeep that he has. And yeah, he's just right on the verge there. He's wearing this like leather jacket and stuff. Lacey, you had a thought?
Well, no,
I was just going to say that I knew R. Lee Ermey from Small Soldiers as the
yes,
yes. Brian Austin Green had a pilot come out in 1990, something called 90210.
Oh yes, you could say he was doing, although it didn't help this movie, but you could say he was having a good month. I'm just saying. But I actually like this movie. It's free on YouTube. I thought it was fun, and it's a paint by numbers revenge flick, but there was an interesting couple of deaths, especially with the tennis ball gagging and poison and setting up the murder to look like something else. I thought that was kind of cool and stuff. And it's in a really like small like desert town too. There's not much going on there, but I love C. Thomas Howell, and I thought he was good in this. So yeah,
he's a very nice guy. He comes to Dragon. He's been to Dragon Con a couple times.
That's cool. Yeah. All right, now this is one. This was kind of close. Personal to my heart here, and this is a movie called Street Hunter. And to give a little lowdown here, if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll know there is 2 different covers to this movie, and I'm going to get into that in a second. The plot is Logan Blade is a tough ex-police officer turned bounty hunter who has to confront a street gang led by Young Angel and his ruthless bodyguard, Colonel Walsh. Director is John A. Gallagher. Stars Steve James, Reb Brown, and John Leguizamo. I don't have any trivia on this, but I discovered this movie because, well, I'm a big American Ninja fan. Thus, also that makes me a big Steve James fan here. And I was kind of trying to find other movies that Steve James has been in where he wasn't just the sidekick. And if you read his IMDb, he's known for being a sidekick to action stars like Chuck Norris and Michael Dudikoff, but being a better actor and is also a very good martial artist on top of that. And if you're looking at the picture on the left there, that is the main cover of Street Hunter. And what I don't like about this cover is that Unfortunately, Steve James is washed out in this, and Reb Brown is the one that gets the big cover. Now, technically at this time, Reb Brown, if you know who he is, he's done a lot of B action films. So technically he was probably the bigger star at the time. And you may remember him from the 1979 cheesy Avengers American Captain America movie. Yeah, he was Captain America. And so he had probably a little bit bigger name, but overseas when they marketed this, though, you saw Steve James as Logan Blade, and he wears this long duster coat with this big, big brim around hat, and he has a Doberman as a dog as a sidekick here. The only place I could find this, other than like maybe a dirty VHS that wasn't maybe working very well, though, is I have it on Laserdisc right here. I actually just watched it recently. I've watched this again though, and this was the original Laserdisc as I'm showing you on the video here. Very, very cool. But what I like about this film, and as you can see, Steve James is right there, but he's hiding in the shadow of Reb Brown. And he's got this cool machine gun, is he was really badass in this, and he is the star of this film. Reb Brown, who plays this kind of psychotic military colonel that is working with John Leguizamo's gangster character. But what's interesting about this, a few lines that Reb Brown says in this, is that he we covered the movie Cobra earlier this year on the Fandom Podcast Network, right? And as we know, Mark Thompson plays the leader of this New World Order gang. Yeah, Lacey?
Brian Thompson.
Sorry, what did I say?
Mark.
Yeah, Brian Thompson. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Brian Thompson plays the leader of this cult gang that tries to take over, and where the weak should be killed and stuff like that. Well, Reb Brown says a similar speech to his militaristic people that John Leguizamo helps round her up. And he basically says, we're going to become another head of Hydra. He says that. And then he also uses the word New World Order, which I thought was interesting. It's a paint by numbers, action film, but it's low budget, but Steve James is great in this. I miss Steve James. He would pass away, unfortunately, a few years later due, I think it was cancer. But if you ever had a chance to find it, I couldn't find it on YouTube. I only found portions of it, or like the video, or the trailer and stuff like that. But I'm glad that Steve James was getting the lead in films, although not blockbuster films, unfortunately. So yeah, recommend it. Anyone else seen this?
No.
All right.
I have not seen it.
All right, guys. This one I have seen. It is also free on YouTube. This is Frankenstein Unbound, a horror movie made only about $334,000 in the movie theater here. And the poster says, a monster movie for the thinking person. From the grandmaster of horror, classic terror is now state-of-the-art shock, starring John Hurt and Raw Julia. Frankenstein Unbound. The ultimate weapon, which was meant to be safe for mankind, produces global side effects, including time slides and disappearances. The scientist behind the project and his car are zapped from year 2031 to 1817 Switzerland. Director, Roger Corman. That kind of tells you what you're getting out of this film. I'll tell you that right now. Stars John Hurt, Raw Julia, Nick Brimble, Bridget Fonda as Mary Shelley, Jason Patrick, and Michael Hutchins from In Excess. Yes. Lacey?
You might recognize Nick Brimble, who played the monster, as Little John from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Well, I believe he was the Frankenstein monster in this.
Yes.
And what I actually like this movie. It was so cheesy and fun. John Hurt is the scientist that creates this weapon that goes bonkers. And his car is kind of like Kit, where it's this female's voice that talks to him. And they go back in time to Switzerland. And people are wondering like what this new chariot is. He meets up with Raw Julia's Dr. Frankenstein, who is evil on his own. And he wants to use this technology information that, John Hurt has to furthermore his creations. And when he gets there, the Frankenstein monster is already there. And if you look in the picture, you can see what he looks like there in the top picture right there. And that's Bridget Fonda to the right, who is the Mary Shelley character, who hasn't written her books yet or has finished them. But John Hurt's character says, well, I have read them and they're great. And it gets really cheesy, but and then a Bride of Frankenstein is made. I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed this. It was so cheesy. I actually bought it on DVD.
I have one issue with the poster for this movie.
Yes.
No, he couldn't find one eye. Like he couldn't find an eyeball that was good. He had to get 3 eyeballs and sew them 4 eyeballs and sew them together. Like that doesn't. I don't. It just. I was just like, oh come on.
Well, I think it's just done for
I know,
artistic
which
thing,
is why I'm like,
letting you know, and maybe there's the different lenses of who
yeah,
the real monster is, and if you see the movie, you'll understand what I mean by that.
but it's not that deep.
It's a Roger Corman film, so you might have a point there. But I'm just gonna say on the heels of the new Frankenstein movie that came out here in 2025, Guillermo del Toro and Oscar Isaacs, who plays Frankenstein, who is wonderful in this. I was in a Frankenstein mode, and I got to say, as cheesy as this movie was, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great.
Wasn't it Jacob Elordi?
Jacob Elordi is the creature in the new Frankenstein movie. Yeah, he's really good in it. I think my wife thought he was hot as a monster. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't know why. Oh. All right, guys. Next, we have a movie I've heard of, but I've never seen before. Tune In Tomorrow.
Yes.
Made about $1,794,000 in the theater, and it was called this year's best comedy of 1990. New Orleans, 1951. A law student working at WXBU radio station falls in love with his cute aunt. Okay, who's looking for a third husband. Then Pedro starts writing radio series on WXBU, stirring things up. Stars Barbara Hershey, Keanu Reeves, Peter Falk, just to name a few. Kyle, give us some trivia on Tune In Tomorrow.
So principal photography began in Wilmington, North Carolina on August 15th, 1989. Hurricane Hugo damaged the film set, so the production was moved to New Orleans. Filming was wrapped by November 2nd. The soundtrack of this film was composed by the one and only Wynton Marsalis, who makes a cameo appearance with various members of his band.
Gotcha. All right. I never saw this, but I think you have, Lacey.
I have. It's delightful. It's exactly what you want it to be without being weird.
Interesting.
I saw the look on your face and you were like, falls in love with this cute aunt. What? No. Yeah. Yep. You should see it. It's inexpensive. I think it was like $11 on DVD. It's not, but it's fun.
I feel like this would have translated into like a good stage play too. Am I wrong on that?
I can see that happening. I can see that going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's Keanu in this? I'm kind of curious.
Adorable. Okay.
Good to hear.
Also adorable. Yeah.
The next movie we have here is I don't remember this one at all, but I could not find it. I would like to find it. And this movie is called Bullseye, starring Michael Caine, Roger Moore, and Sally Kirkland. 2 scientists working for the UK and USA invent cold fusion. They decide to auction it off to foreign nations. 2 lookalike crooks decide to steal their deposits, but end up working for the CIA and the MI5. Director Michael Werner. I have not seen this film at all. Kyle, what kind of trivia you got on this?
I got a really interesting piece of trivia because Michael Caine's agent tried to talk him out of doing this film, but Caine was determined to finally work with his best friend, Roger Moore. This is the only theatrical movie starring Sir Michael Caine and Sir Roger Moore. There's a reason why his agent didn't want him to do this. This film was so bad when it was released in the UK. It did so poorly that it was pulled from most cinemas after a week.
I
don't remember this movie. Lacey, do you remember this?
I do, and it was delightful, and I loved it. It was so much fun, and I had it on DVD or VHS a million years ago. And when I got ready to watch it, I was like, "Oh, I'll watch Bullseye, and this is gonna be great." And I realized I don't own it on DVD, so sadly, my copy will not get here until Sunday. So I haven't seen it recently, but it said that it was going to go, and then there was, I guess, some weather situations somewhere, and they were like, "Sorry, it has been delayed." So I'll be able to tell you about it in December.
Yeah, let me know because I'm curious. I didn't.
I wonder if it holds up because it's
I didn't try to order it or anything, so I was kind of curious. I got the feeling at least it wasn't available or something. I couldn't remember, but that's good to know. Okay, cool. Well, let us know. Give us a update on that. I'll see if Amazon has it too. So, all right. Kyle, did you ever see this movie? I didn't ask you.
I have never even heard of this movie. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys until the notes came up from this. So I have not seen this movie.
looks like you can get it on DVD for about $13 for free shipping on Amazon as of
Amazon.
this recording. So yeah, cool. Well,
Yep.
let me know because I might check it out. Because to have these two actors be in a film together, that sounds like comedy gold right there. So yeah,
Right?
at least it looks like a comedy.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Prince in Graffiti Bridge, made about $4.5 million in its theatrical run. The poster says, Prince, music is the power, love is the message, truth is the answer. Graffiti Bridge, the unofficial sequel to Purple Rain in 1984. The kid is now a club owner and rival to Morris Day and the Time. Excuse me, Morris Day and the effing Time.
Greatest band of all time.
Yes, of whom he gets into a fight for the Grand Slam nightclub. And Lacey, you looks like you have got the Blu-ray right there.
Yeah. I do. Not a huge Prince fan. I am a Morris Day fan. I got to share the stage with him about 15 years ago. He played the Peach Drop back in the day,
Georgia,
in Atlanta for New Year's Eve. Yeah. So, and he was so nice.
What'd you think of the movie?
I have never watched it. I haven't. I just haven't watched it. I can't get around the Prince at all. Prince was mean to me once. I'm sorry. It's just a thing.
I don't blame you. I have never seen this film. I don't know. After the trailers didn't do it for me. I felt like I was going to be watching the same movie again. As much as I love, Morris Day, I don't know. I was kind of over the Prince trying to do movies thing, I guess. And Under the Cherry Moon was another one I didn't even attempt to see. So I don't know.
It's hard to surpass because I saw Purple Rain. I didn't see this. I didn't see Under the Cherry Moon. But the thing is, I did see his cameo on New Girl. And I feel like while that is hilarious, I don't think that anything can beat that cameo.
Yeah.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Kyle, you got any trivia for us on this?
Well, since we're talking about Prince, this film did do one thing. The film's critical and financial failure led Prince to quit acting. Afterwards, he only played in minor roles or made cameos in films and television. And I honestly think we're all better off for it because as great as a musician as he was, not so much on the acting side.
Yeah, I just haven't watched it. I feel like
yeah, I got you. Let's get into the next one here. This one is called Guns. Made about $81,000 in its original theatrical release. James never had this kind of help. Guns, and this says it all, guys. An Andy Sedaris film. After a failed assassination attempt on her partner, DEA agent Donna Hamilton discovers that the crime lord responsible for her father's death is coming after her and her associates. Of course, directed by Andy Sedaris. Looks like Lacey, you and I are holding up the same DVD. There you go.
I do own that DVD set. It's just packed away right now.
It's one of those really horrible ones where it's like little plasticky. It's little papers that hold the.
So you got the newer one. I got the older one.
Oh, lovely.
I'm not got the one like Kevin has.
All the DVDs are piled up and they all click together there. And there's two movies. There's 2 movies per DVD.
Oh,
and this is the Girls, Guns, and G-Strings collection, the Andy Sedaris 12 film set. And this movie stars Erica Estrada, Donna Spear, Roberta Vasquez, Cynthia Brimhall, Chuck McCann, Bruce Penhall, George Chung, and Danny Trejo.
I have the 3-disc version, so there are 4 movies on each disc. There's 2 on either side of each disc.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Kyle, we're fans of Andy Sedaris. We know this. You know who also is a fan of Andy Sedaris?
Andy Sedaris?
No. Well, I'm sure he's a fan of himself. But Kyle, our good friend of the show that we recently saw perform live in improv, is also a huge fan of Andy Sedaris.
Yes. I have had that discussion with Mr. Alex.
Alex Autry.
Okay. I have to talk about Andy Sedaris films because I think most male American men were introduced to Andy Sedaris films late night on Cinemax, aka Skinemax.
Skinemax, baby.
Where most of these aired, and Andy Sedaris basically said, I am putting Playboy models in movies. I don't care if they're good actresses or not. They're beautiful. They're sexy. I'm going to put them in these films. And there was a few regulars in his films. Donna Spear was a regular. The ravishing Cynthia Brimhall, who is on the cover along with Donna Spear of this movie poster for Guns, the ravishing redhead in the background. And here's the crazy thing about it was Sedaris just pumped these movies out, and they never made theaters. They were direct to video or like I said,
or direct to drive-in.
yeah. But you look at the cast for this one in particular. You have Eric Estrada, who a lot of people are familiar with, if either going back to the 70s and early 80s with Chips, or a very famous soap actor, or there was the one movie, and I can't remember. Oh, it was actually not a movie. It was an episode of 90210 where Dylan was down in Mexico, and they got the Fred Riley's to show up to bail him out because his buddy Jonesy told him that the people they were after were there to kidnap Eric Estrada and hold him for ransom. So
there's some other notable names in his films.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I believe I see some Trejo.
Julie Strain was in several of them, and the one that I have playing right now, which is Do or Die, had Pat Morita. Looks like he's playing the bad guy in this with Eric Estrada as well. Sybil Danning was in one as well. 1985 Malibu Express. Donna Spears in a bunch of these, as you can see. But the movies that we're speaking of, in case you are forgetting, that's Savage Beach, Return to Savage Beach, Picasso Trigger, Malibu Express. The first one I remember seeing, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Hard Hunted, Guns, Fit to Kill, Enemy Gold, Do or Die, Day of the Warrior, and The Dallas Connection. There you go.
I think Guns might be his most well-known because of the Estrada of it all, though.
I always thought Hard Ticket to Hawaii was. That just seemed to be everywhere. I don't know.
I remember Picasso Trigger as well.
So, Lacey, the big question people want to know is, why do you have this?
Well, I thought, okay, I wasn't going to get it. And then I thought, I read the thing and it said that Eric Estrada, I was like, oh, I'll absolutely watch an Eric Estrada movie. I love Eric Estrada. Love Chips, love all of his fun cameos and all the stuff he's done afterwards. I think he's a great fun actor. And I think that I think that he is one of those actors that will be part of film history just because he was part of so many kind of iconic things.
Yeah.
And, I'm that person that buys, what do you call it? A season ticket or season pass to specific actors where I'll just go and get everything that they've got, they've done.
Now, what's interesting is obviously people watch these movies for the nudity scenes. The guys want to see the hot chicks with the tops off a little bit, but I got to tell you,
okay,
they do some awesome action. And yes, a lot of them are in skimpy stuff and sometimes they're not, but I got to tell you that he makes their girls kick ass, and it happens a lot in these films. So yes, they're scantily clad at times, but Kyle, give us at least a bit of trivia on this one.
The role of Abe was originally cast with a different actor. Chuck McCann was in Honolulu with his wife. He had won an all expense paid trip to Hawaii on The Price is Right in 1972 after winning both showcase showdowns. The movie was shooting at his hotel when a series of misunderstandings resulted in him shooting scenes throughout the entire picture. It wasn't until the editing process that Andy Sedaris realized he never cast Chuck McCann in the role and had never spoken to him on set. This is an Andy Sedaris film, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
This is a dream come true for me, guys. Winning the Price is Right showcase showdown, going to Hawaii and being in a Lethal Ladies Agency picture. Come on. This is great. I love this.
Oh man.
All right. You guys ever have that movie that you'll never watch again?
Oh yeah.
You make that promise and then you go, all right, I'll give it one more chance. And then you only get a few minutes into it. Like, nope, I was right. Well, that next film for me, because I saw it in the theater, was Jacob's Ladder from the director of Fatal Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
The most frightening thing that Jacob Singer's nightmare is that he isn't dreaming. Mourning his dead child, a haunted Vietnam War veteran attempts to uncover his past while suffering from a severe case of dissociation. Jacob Singer is trying to make sense of his fractured life and memories, plagued by hallucinations, flashbacks, and conspiracies. He struggles down a path to enlightenment from these manic strains. With nothing but support from friends and loved ones, will he be able to push through the haze of his PTSD? Director is Adrian Lin. Stars Tim Robbins, Elizabeth Pena, and Danny Aiello. Kyle, give us some trivia on this, please.
So all the special effects were filmed live with no post-production. For example, to achieve the famous shaking head effect, director Adrian Lynn simply filmed the actor waving his head around and keeping his shoulders and the rest of his body completely still at 4 frames per second, resulting in an incredibly fast and deeply disturbing motion when played back at the normal frame rate of 24 frames per second. In a 2015 retrospective on the film, Tim Robbins said that one of the reasons he thought it didn't do well at the box office was how the film's violent, harrowing scenes in Vietnam didn't jibe with the national mood in the fall of 1990 during the run-up to the Gulf War, or this was just a really bad movie. But I think I'm taking option number 2.
Yeah, this movie was a huge mind F. It just... It was not a happy movie. There were some creepy ass scenes in it, including this dance scene with Elizabeth Pena and these weird claws and horns or whatever it was. It was just weird. And I promised myself I'd never watch it because this movie actually messed me up. It gave me a nightmare or two. And I just man. And then I tried to rewatch it. I want to say about 10 years ago. It was streaming. 10 minutes in, I was out. I just can't. I will never watch this movie ever again. So, yeah.
I don't think I ever got past the poster. I don't think I even saw a trailer for it. It was just like, that's scary as hell. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's so good.
Because it's Timothy Hutton, right? And he's
Tim Robbins.
Oh, Tim Robbins. Okay. Well, never mind. I won't watch it anyway.
Yeah. Tim Robbins was in this. Yeah. Not a fan of this film, and I will never watch it again. Now, here's a film I wish I could have seen. I couldn't find it anywhere. Mr. Frost. Didn't do well in the theatrical run, only made $32,000. Stars Jeff Goldblum. Mr. Frost is arrested and committed for murder after he is apprehended burying the victims in his garden. However, even while under psychiatric care and tight hospital security, it becomes obvious that Mr. Frost is not all he seems to be. But he is a dangerous nonetheless, and his insidious presence causes the doctors and orderlies to receive strange visions. The psychiatrist tries to find out his true identity. Okay, after reading that, maybe I don't want to see it. I don't know. Stars Jeff Goldblum, Kathy Baker, and Alan Bates. Kyle, give us some trivia on this, please.
So, while not a hit, Mr. Frost was generally reviewed well. The film occasionally appears on television. I've never seen this film. I've never even heard of this film until this time warp episode. It's a Goldblum film that kind of just slipped through the cracks.
What's funny is you look at the picture I have on the right. It's a VHS, and it says it costs $64.85 to buy.
That could be a reason why it slipped through the cracks.
Well, that was the blockbuster price.
Yeah. And one of the other posters says chilling. He hasn't spoken in 2 years. No one knows his identity. Officially, he doesn't exist, but 24 corpses do. Call evil by its proper name, Mr. Frost.
I remember seeing this, and I remember never wanting to see it again. Not because he wasn't good, but because he was so good and so good. Look, let's face it, there's nothing that he can't do. Jeff Goldblum can do no wrong, shall we say. I even liked Transylvania 65000. Like, he's been in all kinds of... His range is insane.
And I just recently saw him in the sequel to Wicked, too. He was good in that.
So, he's in Wicked in the sequel, yeah.
Yeah, we love our Jeff Goldblum, but I've never seen this film. I will probably attempt to watch it if it comes across, but I'm not going to try to buy some expensive used copy of it or something like that.
He gives good creepy.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of creepy, guys, we got the next film here.
Nope.
Child's Play 2. What was that, Lacey?
Nope.
And its theatrical run, I did say it did pretty well for a sequel horror film. Made a little over $34 million. And the poster says, "Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back. Child's Play 2. While Andy's mother is admitted to a psychiatric hospital, the young boy is placed in foster care, and Chucky, determined to claim Andy's soul, is not far behind." Directed by John LaFia, stars Alex Vincent, Jenny Gutter, Garrett Graham, and Brad Dourif is back as the voice of Chucky. I'm going to first of all say right now, I'm a fan of the first Chucky film. I remember seeing this one. It's been a long time, but I love the first Chucky. Evil doll comes to life. It's great. And I love the fact that it's possessed by this killer, I think it is, or something like this. And Brad Dourif does a great job with the voice. I love that Lacey's like, no. Kyle, have you seen Child's Play or Child's Play 2 or any of the films?
I've seen several of them, and like with any of these franchise horror figures, they're so impactful in the beginning, and by then they take them so far, making them so silly that they become comedy instead of horror. I also will say this: the creators of the My Buddy doll are still mad because they put their doll out right before this came out, and that kind of tanks sales on the My Buddy doll.
My sister had a My Buddy, and let me tell you something. Every chance I got, that thing got put into like the bathroom cabinet. I put it in the underneath towels in the laundry closet. It so creepy, so creepy.
Yeah. It's I remember. I think the Child's Play 2 is an okay sequel, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. But I just haven't had the urge to watch it. But the first one is still classic for me. I love the first one.
I don't care how funny they get. Like, it could be Chucky 5 Mission to Moscow, and I'd be like, no.
Okay.
Just
so
no.
To give you an idea, though, Kevin, it was Child's Play 2 where they started doing weird things with Chucky, because Chucky appeared in a tuxedo at the 1990 Horror Hall of Fame Awards to advertise the theatrical release of the film. He was introduced by the host, Robert Englund, who, of course, is famous for playing Freddy Krueger.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's awesome. All right, guys, this was a film that blew up and made this star one of the most powerful stars in Hollywood, where he could do almost anything that he wanted. And that, of course, is Dances with Wolves. And this movie made $424 million in its original theatrical run. And, of course, Lieutenant John Barr is dubbed as a hero after he accidentally leads Union troops to a victory during the Civil War. He requests a position on the western frontier, but finds it deserted. He soon finds out, though, he's not alone, but meets the wolf he meets a wolf he dubs Two Socks and a curious Sioux tribe. Dunbar quickly makes friends with the tribe and discovers a white woman who was raised by the Sioux tribe. He gradually earns the respect of these native people, and they learn from each other and befriend each other. Directed and starring Kevin Costner, also starring Mary McDonald and Graham Greene. Now, Lacey, real quick, Kyle, I will show you. Lacey, show up your DVD there. I have the same one. This is the one that looks that you open it up.
Yeah.
And it's like a journal, right? He opens it up. Yeah. Very cool. Yes. Oh
no, yours is different. Yours is different.
How's it?
Oh no, you're right. You're right. I forgot that this part opens.
Yes. And then the DVD is on the side, and it slides out here. And I think mine has 2 DVDs inside of it here. So but it kind of looks like a journal, I guess, a prop that he has in the movie.
It's a flipper. Remember, it's a flipper. You have to halfway through it, you have to flip the disc over.
That's right. Yeah.
It's
I actually bought. I haven't opened it yet, but I actually bought the Blu-ray of it. Well, I might do a little combo or something. So
I'm skipping Blu-ray. I'm waiting for the 4K because this is going to be gorgeous on 4K.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, I'll probably do that.
It's going to be absolutely stunning on 4K. If they do, I don't know.
Kyle, you got thoughts there? What you got?
Well, I just want to make sure we give a shout out to the just recently passed Graham Greene.
Graham Greene, yeah.
Yes. Graham Greene was obviously great in this film, but in so many things, and just a phenomenal actor and a great representative for his people. And Graham Greene is a legend in my mind.
You know what? I could almost watch this movie and then watch Maverick, because the character he plays in Maverick feels like it's a few years later after he comes across more white men.
I do have a question for you guys as far as the Kevin Costner of this all.
Sure.
Do you feel that it was after this movie that Kevin Costner's acting career, because of what this movie did for him, really made a change? Because it seemed like after this film, he really was different about how the things he selected to do.
I have a story on that.
All right, what you got?
Apparently, he had a few solid hits at that point, and he actually has an interview. I sent you guys the link a while back. I don't know if I told you about it. Whatever. But it was he was on the couch, and he was talking about how you know that thing where your friends, you got your entourage of people, and everyone's kind of coming up at the same time, and whoever makes it first, brings brings everybody along. Starts talking about all of his group of friends and how eventually most of them became functionally employed in the industry. And he had one guy that was a friend who just kept he just kept murdering all his interviews. He never got a job. Everyone was always like, he's just a jerk. All this kind of stuff. Like, this guy's a real asshole. Like, none of his, he couldn't get anybody to hire him. And so finally he asked him to stay on his couch, and he stayed for like 3 months or something. And he was like, just work on do something. And then finally he kicked him out, and he was like working in a Mexican restaurant in like Los Feliz or something for like 3 weeks. And he called Kevin Costner back, and he was like, hey man, did you read what I wrote? And he was like, no. What? No. And apparently his daughter had been he had been reading it to Kevin Costner's daughter before he left. And the wife, his wife told him, hey, you need to read this. And he finally called the guy back. He was like, this is amazing. I'm going to make this movie. And it was Dances with Wolves.
Oh, how funny.
So the writer of Dances with Wolves apparently used to be a real jerk.
So and he must have gotten a nice payday for that, I hope. Anyway.
Probably.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I think that he definitely had enough pull at that point to get something made, because he had his own, at that point he already had his own company, his own production company. So,
well, as for the movie itself, it was it won a crap load of awards, obviously, and it was one of his defining moments because he also directed it as well, and beautifully shot, just overall. And I haven't revisited it in a while, but now that you said if it ever comes out on 4K, I might have to get that one because it is a good movie. Kyle, you got any trivia on this for us?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of trivia on this film. Because of the film's enormous success and sympathetic treatment of Native Americans, the Lakota Nation adopted Kevin Costner as an honorary member.
Nice.
Two Socks was performed by different wolves originally owned by Michael Caine. One was called Buck and the other was called Teddy, and both were kept on set at all times. After filming this cinematic production, they were permanently kept in Ventura County, California's animal sanctuary, working wildlife.
That's about 40 minutes south of me, just so you know. And by the way, Michael Caine is not that Michael Caine, just so you know. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, just so you guys know.
Nice.
So your thoughts on this movie, Kyle?
I mean, it's an all-time classic as far as, just it dominated the Oscars that year. It was the movie everybody was talking about for the whole year that year. It took Kevin Costner to an entirely different level. I mean, he was already becoming a superstar. This is when he became a mega superstar, where he could basically do whatever the hell he wanted to in Hollywood, whether it was good or bad. And he's continued to do so till this day, whether it's good or bad. Horizon. Sorry.
What was that?
Well, Horizon, the Western that had 2 parts, and they've only released the first one because it did not go well. And I actually saw the first one in the theater. So yeah, but of course he's more famously now, of course, of Yellowstone. And but Lacey, your thoughts quickly on Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I think it might be the first time I saw Mary McDonald, like where I recognized who she was.
Right.
And then of course, she went on to do all of the amazing things, and she's always plays these amazing characters. Strong characters. I think that
she was Independence Day as the wife.
Battlestar Galactica, the series. She was the president. I mean, she's been a ton of things. And Graham Greene. I learned a lot about something I didn't know a lot about. I didn't know a lot about Native American film. I didn't have much exposure to it, so it was interesting and something to watch where it actually like kind of sparked my interest, and I ended up getting a whole bunch of books. I learned about Sherman Alexie and his books. It's a good solid learning experience as well as a beautiful film.
Gotcha. All right, well, here's a film I recently saw for the first time, and it was actually on the suggestion of my wife because I was fascinated by these true based on 2 brothers that were famous criminals in and around England. And this movie is called The Krays, made a little over $2 million in its theatrical run. And it says here on the poster, identical twins, identical passion for power. In the swinging 60s, they ruled by a sword. The true story of London's most notorious family, the Krays. This fact-based movie follows the life of twin crime lords in London's 60s underworld, the life of a pair of twins, Ronald and Reginald Kray, who were born in London in 1934, and they grew up to become gangsters selling protection. And there was an earlier incarnation of this, or more recent one, I should say, with Tom Hardy playing both of these characters. And I remember watching that when it came out in the theater. And I thought it was okay. Wasn't quite exactly I was hoping to see from a gangster film. But this one's famous for a couple of reasons, guys. This stars Gary Kemp, Martin Kemp. For those of you that don't know, they're in that band Spandau Ballet. That's how they made a name for themselves. And if you don't know who Spandau Ballet is, True, that was one of their songs that they sang. One of the most iconic 80s songs of all time. Lacey's going, I don't know music. I don't know.
That's the meme thing. That's the meme girl.
Yeah. Trust me, this song was huge. And I'm sure you may remember that. And also stars Billy Whitelaw. Kyle, give us some trivia on the Krays.
Don't piss off the Krays, because the real life Kray twins disliked this film because it portrayed their mother swearing. Yeah, never a good thing. And the real Reggie Kray suggested that Patsy Kensit read for the role of his wife Frances, but she declined. The part was later played by Kate Hardy. And the real life Kray twins were paid £2,500 for this film.
So yeah, they were alive at the time when this film was being made, and they're kind of considered folk heroes as well. They're kind of that type of situation, and they really got in on the underworld of crime and larceny and murder and protection and all that kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, this was better than the Tom Hardy film. I'll say that right now. Yeah. These guys are really good, and one of them is insane, and one of the brothers plays that character very, very well. And also, too, there's a little bit of a documentary on this DVD, but this one I also got. You can find it online as well. And I got this while I was in Australia. This is the Krays Gangsters Behind Bars documentary. I'm holding up here right now. While the Krays served life sentences inside, Steve Wraith was there, and the man on the outside. And so make sure you check it out. These guys are a fascinating bunch of characters in England history. And you can still learn a lot about them. Has anyone seen this, Lacey?
I feel like I saw it a long time ago. And I remember, the only reason I remembered is because I saw the Tom Hardy version I was watching. I was like, I feel like I've seen this story before. But it was probably on, like, I don't know, HBO or something, at 1 o'clock in the morning, random.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about you, Kyle? You seen this?
I've never actually seen this. I'm familiar with the brothers. I've read about them. So, yeah.
Well, Spandau Ballet was a huge 80s synth pop band, and they were members in that band and real brothers, and they've gone on to do acting. And Kyle, actually, I'm forgetting which one, but one of them was also in an episode of the Highlander TV series as well. So, they both had their fair share. They got back together and formed the band as well. Then they broke up again and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
sad.
Kyle,
I just want to say before we move on to our next film, for our listeners out there, we are about to hit a run of extraordinary films for different reasons to talk about here on this Time Warp. So buckle up, because the ride's really about to get fun.
Well, we're going to start off with Home Alone. Came out in November of 1990. Lacey there is holding up the Blu-ray. I have the DVD 3 film collection of Home Alone, Home Alone 2, and Home Alone 3, which did not star Macaulay Culkin. Lacey, you've got the Blu-ray there, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack that came out. It's got a ton of extra special features, and the Blu-ray on this one, the blooper reel on this one, I feel like I want to say it was longer than the original DVD that I had, because I feel like they added to the blooper reel.
Well, this movie made $476 million in its theatrical run, and 8-year-old troublemaker mistakenly left at home must defend his home against a pair of burglars on Christmas Eve. Of course, directed by Christopher Columbus, writer John Hughes. Stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, and Catherine O'Hara. Kyle, give us some trivia.
Okay, well, Joe Pesci deliberately avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Culkin to think he was mean. Catherine O'Hara revealed in 2014 that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom. And yeah, Joe Pesci was used to adding profanity to most of his scripts and kept forgetting he was on a family film during his character's on-screen outbursts. So director Christopher Columbus advised him to say fridge instead of the F word. A lot of Pesci's unintelligible pain mutterings were his way to avoid cursing.
And if you have it on Blu-ray, or DVD listen to the commentary. It's awesome.
Gotcha.
I will say nothing more than that. It's just fantastic.
This is a go-to Christmas film for many, many, many people. Kyle and I have talked about this. I'm a little Home Alone out. I've seen it too many times. I'm kind of burnt out on it. I have not revisited this film in a while. I think Kyle and I both have Home Alone burnout when it comes to discussing Christmas films and seeing Christmas films. You still feel that way, Kyle?
It's been about 4 years since I've done it in the Christmas rotation, so it might be time for a revisit. But I want to say this about this movie. In my lifetime, the amount of movies that felt like theatrical phenomenons, and what I mean by that is movies that stayed in the theater forever, and the movies that when you talk to a person, if you found somebody who didn't go at least twice to see this movie, you were shocked. Home Alone was one of those. It stayed in the theater well past the holiday season. It just kept going and going and going. I know I saw it in the theater 2 or 3 times with different friends. This movie also, Joe Pesci was already known, but this movie blew up Joe Pesci to an entirely different audience and and made him a superstar. Daniel Stern got huge out of this, and of course, we all know the fame and the trials and tribulations of Macaulay Culkin. But I mean, this movie truthfully is one of those Hollywood true powerhouse films. Nobody expected this coming, even with John Hughes and Chris Columbus involved with it. This movie took over the box office on a level like I would say a Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Top Gun, Batman '89. That's how this movie took over the box office.
I'm just gonna say this. I may revisit this soon, but I remember the last time that I watched these, I watched 1 and 2 back to back. Hot take. I think I like the second one better. Just gonna say. Lacey, your thoughts on Home Alone?
Home Alone's fantastic. Love the purse, love the shoes, love everything. It's delightful. The second one is fantastic as well. If you have not experienced Macaulay Culkin's Twitter feed, you're in for a treat. He is so funny as an adult. He is so dry and witty. Go search his Twitter feed and just start at the beginning, and you'll have just weeks of entertainment.
I felt like recently he was either quoted saying or something, it just could be fan fakeness, but that he would be interested in returning to another Home Alone film. And I'm curious if they did, what he would do just in case. So, yeah.
Oh, he said that he would totally be interested in playing an adult Kevin McAllister and what would happen with his children.
All right. We're going to get into one of my favorite animated movies of all time. This movie had an effect on me, and I'm happy to talk about The Rescuers Down Under. Made over $47 million in its original theatrical run. RAS agents Miss Blanca and Bernard race to Australia to save a little boy and a rare golden eagle from a murderous poacher. Stars Bob Newhart, Ava Gabor, John Candy, George C. Scott. Lacey, you're holding up your physical media there. What do you got? You got the Blu-ray. Oh, check it out. You and I have the Blu-ray double feature of both The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under.
But awesome. I made it a double and put my Blu-rays and my DVDs in there too.
Nice. Yes. I was about to do that too, but I love this original DVD cover so much. It's got the classic poster of it. I think that's really cool. Kyle, thoughts?
Well, first of all, I need to explain the important factor of The Rescuers in my life, because my parents will tell me the story. I don't necessarily remember it myself, but when the original Rescuers came into theaters, my parents took me. And apparently at some point during the film, when they were trying to escape from the bad guys, and there was the dragonfly Evinrude. And I apparently yelled out in the middle of the theater, "Go Evinrude!" But no, this movie, I mean, and this movie, it was such a long time between Rescuers films, but there's a lot of very interesting things about the movie. This movie hit home with a lot of kids and with a lot of people, with the story content and all that. But this film also is a historical film for another reason and I just want to share that with you, because this was the first film that was 100% digital ever made. And the animation backgrounds were done traditionally, but all the coloring, many effects, and the final film printing was done digitally. This was the first film produced with Disney Animation's award-winning CAPS production system developed for the film. It cut the production time for an anime movie down by at least 6 months.
Yeah. This had a great voice cast too, and one of the ones that really stands out for me, of course, is John Candy as the albatross. I love John Candy in this. He's the one that gets the mice to Australia. But for me personally, I remember I didn't see this in the theater, but I got it on VHS, and I rewatched this. It just took me to a place, but it was also one of those films that made me just wonder about Australia. And I remember being fascinated with that country, especially seeing, Crocodile Dundee and, Shrimp on the Barbie and all these Australian films. And of course, Mad Max and all those as well, in a different light, of course. But this opening sequence of this film where you see the young boy what I like about this film is the young boy actually talks to the animals. The animals talk back to him.
Most of them.
What's that?
Most of the animals.
Yes, most of them. Which kind of makes him like a Dr. Dolittle type, which I thought was cool. But while, the other humans, no one really talks directly to them, and it showcases a lot of the Australian animals, which I like, the wombats and everything else, which I thought was kind of cool. But I really, the opening scene of this, when he rescues the eagle and then he falls down and the eagle captures him and he rides the eagle and flies around. And it's just a really, really sweet film. But I got to tell you, George C. Scott's character as the hunter, oof, boy, is he mean. Lacey, your thoughts on Rescuers Down Under?
It's interesting because 1990 was probably the very end of when Disney was allowed to use things like weapon and potential child abduction and murder and that kind of thing, right? Because you think about the original, and it was an orphan who was thrown down a well to dig up a jewel. In this one, he's straight up gonna murder this child because he was a witness to a crime.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the end of that era. I think this is the last film of the Disney animated ones that were that was straight up scary, and it would never be made today. Never be made today. You would not see, let's face it, they put keys in the walkie-talkies in the hands of the, whatever. So the one thing that I have an issue with in this film is that he talks to every animal except for that stinking bird. Why can't he talk to the one bird? The one eagle doesn't speak human or English or whatever. And it's not all birds, because he can talk to John Candy.
Yeah, that is interesting.
No.
I wonder if that was I was wondering if that was a creative choice for a reason why the eagle doesn't speak. That's interesting.
Disney doesn't, because he talks to the eagle, but the eagle doesn't. The eagle kind of does the weird bird head tilt thing,
the eagle understands what he's saying for sure. So yeah. Did you like the film?
It was good. It was enjoyable when I saw it. I watched it recently and it was enjoyable. But watching it at 52 is very different from watching it when I was 16. Because watching it when I was 16, I was like, this is amazing. Watching it at 52, I was like, there are too many guns in this children's film.
This is true.
Too much murder in these children's film. There's too.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
All right. Kyle, last thoughts?
Well, just to what Lacey said about Disney films, go about 9 years later and go watch Tarzan. I'm just going to throw that out there, because
I do believe that Tarzan, the bad guy in Tarzan, was actually the same animation. They pulled the animation from the bad guy in this.
Yeah, but the Tarzan's a little dark. But the thing I love about this film is it really still was an era where Disney respected their voice actors, because they wanted to bring back the entire cast. And unfortunately, the voice for
Buddy Hackett,
the original Wilbur or Orville the Albatross, Jim Jordan, had passed away just a few months before this movie was beginning to start filming. They had planned a third one, and Ava Gabor passed away, and they said, nope, we're done. No, we're not doing these characters anymore. If we can't have Ava Gabor voicing voice, then we're not doing these. And they stopped it. And you don't see that too much these days with voice acting.
Yeah, usually they get people to replace them.
Did you notice the names of the two birds, though?
Yes.
Yeah, Orville and Wilbur Wright. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact
All
that Ava Gabor passed and they stopped it, I just got to give Disney a lot of props for
Mhm.
that.
right, guys, let's get to the next film here. This one I have thoughts.
Oh, you and me both, my friend.
Rocky V made almost $120 million in its original theatrical run. Rocky Balboa is forced to retire after having permanent damage inflicted on him in the ring by Russian boxer Ivan Drago. Returning home after the Drago bout, Balboa discovers that the fortune he had acquired as a heavyweight champ has been stolen and lost in the stock market by his accountant. His boxing days are over. Rocky begins to coach up an upcoming fighter named Tommy Gunn. Rocky cannot compete, however, with the high salaries and glittering prizes being offered to Gunn by other managers in town. Directed by John G. Avildsen, writer Sylvester Stallone, stars Sylvester Stallone, Talia Shire, Burt Young, Burgess Meredith, Sage Stallone, and Tommy Morrison. Kyle, give us some trivia on Rocky V.
Okay, so this might sum up the whole Rocky V experience right here, because in an interview with Jonathan Ross, Sylvester Stallone was asked to rate each of the Rocky movies out of 10. He gave Rocky V a 0. He also went on to say that he toyed with the idea of killing off Rocky at the end of the film. The plan was that Rocky would die in an ambulance on its way to the hospital with Adrian by his side. At the hospital, she would have announced to the world of his passing, and his spirit would live on. With a final flashback of the famous scene of him running up the steps, Stallone ultimately abandoned this concept and rewrote the ending. This and then we have to get into like the whole Tommy Gunn, Tommy Morrison of it all, because Tommy Morrison was a legit boxer, and it didn't go well.
This movie is horrible. I'm just going to say straight up, it's the worst film of the Rocky franchise. And I know he did another one to kind of make up for it. And I thought it was a better film. But this is just kind of sad too. And Tommy Morrison, I think he died of AIDS later on too. And also Sage Stallone died young too. It's just, it's just got some bad juju about it. And it was not what we wanted to see from Rocky after Rocky 4 too. I mean, it was just a huge letdown. Now, Lacey, you've informed us that you have a similar collection like I do of all the Rocky movies. Let's showcase that physical meter right there. Nice. Okay, so you've got all of them on there. This one has all of them as well. This is my 40th anniversary edition here. The Blu-ray, yeah. You just informed us so that you watched all of them, because you weren't going to watch number 5 and just leave it at that. You watched all of them back to back to back. I just want to ask you real quick, though, of all of them, which one is your favorite?
2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kyle and I think we like 4 the best. Are we on that?
It's tight between 3 and 4. But here's one thing I'm going to say. As bad as Rocky V is, and it's horrible for so many reasons, the whole Tommy Morrison thing, he tried to use this movie to basically make himself a legit heavyweight fighter. He was a horrible fighter, and he was not really a great human being in general. And if you go back and read some stuff on him,
he only has 3 credits.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't an actor. He truly was a professional boxer. He was a professional boxer who knew he had HIV and still boxed. So that's
in the 90s when there was no. Well, yeah, wow, that's kind of a big move. Yeah.
I just wanted to say though, because since Lacey watched all of them,
yeah,
the movie Rocky Balboa, which he made to make up for this, is actually not a bad film. And if you have never seen the Creed films, I strongly suggest you watch Rocky Balboa before you watch the Creed films, because you really see the setup for how Rocky Balboa is portrayed in the first Creed film, which to this day, I will say Sylvester Stallone was robbed of Best Supporting Actor Oscar for.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, well said. Lacey, your thoughts on Rocky V?
Number 1, I did look up Kevin Connolly, and this was his first role as Chicky.
Okay.
Name of his character.
The one you were talking about earlier, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Connolly, yep. Okay, so this was a rough month for me because everything is sequels. I mean, Predator 2, 3 Men and a Little Lady, like all these different, Home Alone, Rocky 5, all these things are sequels. Sorry, not Home Alone, Rescuers Down Under. So I can't watch just a mid sequel. I have to watch from the beginning through because I feel like I miss things. So I will say from Rocky films, I do not like it when they play the like 7 minutes of the final fight from the movie beforehand. That's just, I mean, let's face it, in 5 movies, that was, 35 minutes of my life I can't get back. Okay, because I already watched it. Thanks.
Okay.
I think that Rocky is a staple in film history. I think is something that is important to leave in my collection. I likely won't watch them again, not because I didn't enjoy them, but because I don't really do drama all that much. And if I kind of feel like I cannot stand brother Paulie, whatever his name is, Paulie. Like what kind of no, he was
That's Burt Young's character.
yeah. I mean, he was a great actor, right? Because I mean, he's been in a million things, and he wasn't always a jerk. But in this film, series,
he wasn't necessarily a good person to Rocky, if I remember correctly.
Terrible person up through until literally until the 6th movie, where he actually like gets upset about the passing of Talia Shire's character. It was so.
Well, what your thoughts on Rocky 5 though? It had a different tone. It had a different tone. I was wondering if you caught that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has a different tone. I mean, it was more he's retired, and this was a guy who's calling him out to do a street fight. I think that the big character in this is Bill Grant. I think it's his name, Bill, the George Washington Duke, whoever that actor was. Richard Grant. Anyway, I do think that I don't like over the top people, like the ones who were. I think that's one of the reasons I don't like wrestling, is because it's always like, oh, I'm gonna take you down, like that whole hype men kind of stuff. Like I don't. Well, that's so. I like this one okay. I like this one better than probably the 2 middle ones, 3 and 4.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I see Kyle's face is like, no.
This is sacrilege. It's sacrilege.
That's sacrilege to Rocky fans. But hey, she's
how tall is Hulk Hogan? Like I'm going through all of them.
Oh, he's huge.
He was gigantic. I didn't realize Sylvester Stallone was that short.
Yeah.
I think 3 and 4. When we got Mr. T and Ivan Drago are probably the favorites. But 4 is my favorite. When you get to fight Russia, it's great. So, well, guys, let's get into the next film here. And I was with Lacey on this. I don't remember this sequel very much, so I had to go back and watch the first one, and that is 3 Men and a Little Lady. And of course it is the sequel to 3 Men and a Baby. And what's so funny is you got the double feature there, Lacey. Nice.
This is just the DVD.
Gotcha.
It's a fun little double feature.
So what's funny was when I was in Australia several months ago with my wife, because that's where she's from, I was scouring a bunch of like thrift stores and stuff. They call them op shops there. And I actually found in the same bin 3 Men and a Little Lady,
nice.
and 3 Men and a Baby. So I got to do a little double feature there as well. And I had forgotten what happened in the second one, because I know the first one very well, because there's that famous scene of that child cutout that's hiding in the background, and people are wondering if it was like some kid hiding or a dead kid or some whatever. It just turned out it
ended up being a Ted Danson standee.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Nice. But 3 Men and a Little Lady, this one here made a little over $71 million in its theatrical run here. 3 ex-dads quickly discover how empty their life is without their little lady, and go to outrageous lengths in their efforts to win their daughter back in this critically acclaimed and equally charming sequel. Directed by Emil Ardolino, stars Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, Ted Danson, and Nancy Travis. Kyle, give us some trivia on 3 Men and a Little Lady.
So Leonard Nimoy, who directed the first film, which a lot of people forget because it's Leonard Nimoy, you don't think of him as 3 Men and a Baby, but he declined to return to direct this film as he was busy making Funny About Love, a movie he later regretted. He should have went and done 3 Men and a Little Lady. But another interesting and in some ways sad fact, as of September 2024, this is Steve Guttenberg's last box office hit to date. Though he has maintained success on television and direct-to-video movies, this was his last theatrically released film to make a profit.
There you go.
And finally, in 2013, Tom Selleck stated in an interview he would agree to return as Peter Mitchell for 3 Men and a Bride. Selleck had spoken to Ted Danson and Steve Guttenberg, who have also expressed enthusiasm for reuniting for a third movie. Kevin, I'm just going to say something. I'm actually surprised you had forgotten about this movie because there's one very memorable aspect to this movie. Because this was a point in time where I think every red-blooded American male had some form of crush on Nancy Travis.
It's interesting. She, yeah, we did. But what's so funny, this is nitpicky. So since I've seen this film long time ago, I probably watched it again on video, whatever. I forgot that Nancy, and I hadn't seen these in a long time. I forgot that Nancy's character was a British character. She had a British accent. But what's so funny is that after doing some living, doing some traveling in and all around UK and Scotland and going to Australia, and my wife's mother is English. Her accent's pretty bad. I'm just gonna say right now.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Oh, I can tell that it is not someone who's native. But other than that, she's very charming in this film, and she's gorgeous. But yes, you're right, Kyle. Kyle, yes.
One other thing, this movie proved that Magnum PI could score the ladies better than Sam Malone. However, Ted Danson got his revenge later because Nancy Travis became his love interest on Ted Danson's newer show, Becker.
This is right. Lacey, your thoughts on 3 Men and a Little Lady?
Okay, I loved the first one. I love the second one. They're super cute. The school marm in this in 3 Men and a Little Lady is amazing. She's been in a million things, and now my brain is not telling me what it was, but she played someone who was possessed at one point, and I was like, oh, that's the lady from that's amazing. It's a great movie. Very much enjoyed it. Yay.
I like the ending of this movie where Nancy Travis is supposed to get married to this other English guy, and he's a dick, and and they get married, but it's like Ted Danson's disguise where his acting pays off, and he has the makeup and everything, and they do the old switcheroo and stuff. But I would be interested in a final sequel to this, 3 Men and a Bride. Or, I think that would be kind of cool. I wondered if they would ever return to that. So. All right, guys, let's get to the next one here. And this is an underrated sequel. I actually go back and forth whether or not I like this one more than the original. And people are going to think it's sacrilege, but I love Predator 2. Made over $54 million in its original theatrical run. And we got a couple different posters here showcasing the Predator himself and, of course, the wonderful cast in this film. The Predator returns to Earth, this time to stake a claim on the war-torn streets of dystopian Los Angeles. LAPD Lieutenant Mike Harrigan, Danny Glover, and his cocky detective partner, Jerry Lambert, Bill Paxton, soon realize what seemed a bloodied feud between voodoo high priestess King Willie Jamaican gangs and Ramon Vega's Colombian drug gang is actually the work of a scary third party. Peter Keyes, played by Gary Busey's federal team, shields the crime scene even for the LAPD. But after forensics prove it must be an alien who keeps making victims, the chase brings them all together. Directed by Stephen Hopkins, not Hawkins.
That would be a very different film.
Yes, it would be. Stars Danny Glover, Gary Busey, Kevin Peter Hall as a Predator, Ruben Blades, Maria Conchita Alonso, and of course, Bill Paxton. Kyle, give us some trivia here. We got a good one here at the first one.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting trivia here. I want to start with this one, though, because the filming of the alley scene was very troublesome for the filmmakers due to the rough neighborhood. The alley was littered with garbage, most of which was used in the film, and plagued with large rats. Local residents, angered by the noise created by the film crew, would throw bottles and paper bags filled with feces from windows at the crew in the alley below. Worst of all, the film crew found a dead body hidden among the garbage. The most horrible places I have ever had to film in were the alleys in downtown Los Angeles, Shane Mahan commented. And Predator 2 was shot in a lot of those disgusting alleys. They were dirty and depressing and gross, with people peeing on walls, and we'd be rigging something and there would be rats there. I want to continue on with the joy of filming in East Los Angeles, because the gunfight in East Los Angeles was shot in 3 long days. The circumstances in LA were quite dangerous due to actual gang fights, stabbings, and shootings going on. The crew was actually protected by the Crips during the shoot.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger said no to Predator 2 because of a dispute over money. It was over an additional $250,000, which the studio refused to pay him. However, director later stated that Schwarzenegger couldn't commit due to scheduling conflicts to Kindergarten Cop and Total Recall.
which almost led to the casting of Patrick Swayze, but he was injured on the filming of Roadhouse, so he was not able to take the role. And there's two other very important pieces of trivia that we have here. This was actually the first film to be given the newly instituted NC-17 rating in the United States for its graphic violence and nudity before it was recut to its final theatrical length. According to director Stephen Hopkins, the issues the MPAA had with the movie were mostly political in an attempt to make a statement against the violence in the films of Joel Silver. And then there is the last one. That is probably the most famous thing Predator 2 might be known for, because what started off as a simple, oh, ha, 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 I found this in a warehouse and I'm going to put this in this movie, created a shitstorm in fandom that has led to one of the Predator being tied to one of the other biggest franchises of all time, because the ending of this movie, in which a xenomorph skull from Alien appears in the trophy case on the Predator ship, established as canon the fact that xenomorphs and predators coexist in the same cinematic universe for the first time in history of either film franchise. The ending of this movie accelerated the popularity of the Aliens vs. Predators series crossover throughout the 1990s, which was promptly followed by more comic books, novels, video games, toys, and finally, two very average movies.
And Kyle and I recently just saw Predator Badlands, and ties into Weyland-Yutani. So there you go. Real quick, I did want to mention that Lacey and I both have the 4K Predator movie collection here.
Predator, I have the originals.
Yeah.
And then I got the 4Ks.
Nice. I'm a huge fan of this sequel, guys. It got panned for such a long time, but I find the cast overall entertaining. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Bill Paxton, but I thought Ruben Blades was really good in this. Maria Conchita Alonso, Gary Busey is the crazy government guy as well, and there's some really cool fight scenes in this kind of urban warfare thing that we have going on, Kyle.
So I really do think over the years that Swing has made this movie. People have come around on this film. I think at the time it came out, there was two issues with it. Nobody saw Danny Glover as the lead in an action film with a Predator, and just didn't see his character as like a threat to the Predator that can compete like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Two, I think that the main reason why this film is, I don't want to say it's superior to Predator, the original Predator, because that's an all-time classic, but why I think this is a great Predator film is putting the Predator in that urban setting, Los Angeles. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest with you. Most people thought Los Angeles at the time, unless you lived there, was just a complete gang war zone, the way it was being portrayed on the news and in film. Mm. So why not put the Predator in the ultimate war zone? And it worked. And you have this fantastic cast that people, and I think people have really turned, especially in about the last 10 to 15 years on this film, and have a totally different appreciation for it now.
Lacey, what say you on Predator 2?
I liked the first one. I very much enjoyed the second one. I think my favorite out of the four, though, is going to be Predators, because I feel like it was more of the fun, collaborative.
That's the one with Adrian Brody, and they're all like,
and
Topher Grace.
Yeah,
Topher Grace. Yeah,
it was kind of like the most dangerous game on a different planet. But I enjoyed this. It was fun. I like Maria Conchita Alonso. She's great. It's got some fun bits and bobs. I think I kind of like this as a series. I don't need to pull one out. Not like Terminator. Like I feel like Terminator, I liked 1 and 2, and then the rest of them were like, eh. But this one, I like them as a series.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kyle.
I think there's one other very important thing about this film. This film did establish the fact that the Predator does have some kind of moral code of ethics, because as soon as the Predator realized Maria Conchita Alonso's character was pregnant, mm-hmm. he didn't touch her. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very key moment in the Predator franchise.
Also, to tag on to what you just said, Kyle, they have this sense of honor, especially if being beaten. At the end of the film, he kills the Predator with his own weapon in the ship, and then all of a sudden the other Predators show up, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And instead of killing him, they take away their dead comrade, and one of them gives them a a flintlock
gun.
pistol from like the 1700s or something like that
Mhm.
as like a trophy. Yeah, you've earned this. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, and that's one thing we've always wanted to know more about the Predator culture, Kyle. And I think you and I agree that that was one of the things we really liked about Predator Badlands is that a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want to sympathize for the Predator. They need to be always killing things and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, no, we want to see what this culture is about. And we got to peek into that with Predator Badlands.
I also saw an absolutely over the top crazy performance by Gary Busey in this film.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton gets the joy of the historical landmark of being the first man to be killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, as much as I love this movie, there was one golden opportunity they had. You had cast Danny Glover in this. He had already done a couple Lethal Weapons. How you do not get Danny Glover to utter the line, "I'm getting too old for this shit" in this movie is beyond me.
No, that would no, Kyle. I get it. It's funny, but that would not have been cool. I would not have liked that. So
I think they didn't do that for the same reason they didn't have Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch make a Sherlock Holmes joke.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. The next one is a cult classic. I love this film. It is cheesy. It is wonderful. This is Robot Jox, Jox. Theatrical, made about $329,000. Poster says, 2 men, 2 machines, 2 wild. Robot Jox. In a post-World War III, war is outlawed. In its place are matches between large robots called Robot Jox. These matches take place between 2 large superpowers over disputed territories. The main character, Achilles, is a pilot in one of the large robots. The plot revolves around him in a match for the state of Alaska, Kyle. Alaska, your home state. You didn't tell me you had Robot Jox fighting over your land? Come on.
Well, we might be a little embarrassed when we talk about Robot Jox fighting over our land, even though this is a very fun, not great film, but just fun. Yeah, Robot Jox is a film that, in the age of doing effects like we have seen in Pacific Rim and in Godzilla -1, desperately needs a proper remake with those effects and see what they can really do, because we were not ready for Robot Jox as effects wise when this film came out.
I didn't catch this till a little bit later on VHS. The DVD that I have here says the ultimate killing machine, part man, part metal. I forgot to mention that it stars its director Stuart Gordon, stars Gary Graham, Anne Marie Johnson, and Paul Koslow. Kyle, give us some trivia on Robot Jox.
So, in the area of this feels disturbing to me, the screams of the spectators being crushed by the giant robot were later sampled in the song "The Becoming" by 9 Inch Nails. Stuart Gordon almost cast the Muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme, in the lead role of Achilles. He should have done it. Maybe it would have prevented the Boar Fest that was Cyborg.
I feel like this movie might have been bigger if it had Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, I think it would have. And they actually have been trying. A sequel was discussed. Stuart Gordon, Gary Graham, and Paul Koslow would have returned as both director and stars, respectively. The canceled sequel would have had Achilles and Alexander team up to stop an alien invasion. Ultimately, as I said earlier, Robot Jox was about 25 years before its time. I mean, if you go back and watch the trailer to this, you don't even see that much of the robot battles in the trailer. And the biggest thing I remember from the trailer, because it played a lot before leading into Robot Jox, was there's a scene where the guy is yelling out Achilles, and that was like the big thing from that. And it had all the great ideas, and it just didn't have the effects to execute those ideas.
Lacey, have you seen Robot Jox?
I have not seen Robot Jox. The director, though, it's very odd to think that this director wrote and directed this. He did Space Truckers, which I loved.
Love Space Truckers.
But also he wrote like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. And he wrote a bunch of like family-friendly things too, which is very against genre, I guess.
No, wait a minute. This is the guy who wrote the screenplay for Reanimator. Come on now.
Yeah, he wrote
There you go.
but yeah, he wrote I mean a ton of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
So do you have any interest in seeing this then?
Okay, so when I saw the list for this pod, I was like, I read the statement on it that said it's post World War III, war is outlawed, and I was like, the concept of outlawing war is not a thing. Like, what? It just seemed like such a silly premise. I was like, no.
It's big robots fighting. That's all you need to know.
I mean, I saw Real Steel, man. It's fine.
It's like the the precursor to Pacific Rim, right?
Or Real Steel, maybe. Real Steel.
No, I'm going to stay a little bit more Pacific Rim than than Real Steel.
It's cheesy, it's fun, it's campy, and
but is it funny or is it like so bad it's funny?
It's so bad it's funny.
Yeah. I want real funny. I don't want to feel bad for the movie.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for the movie. I just enjoy it for what it is. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Robot Jocks. There you go. All right. Next we have, and I believe this is the last film on the docket, guys. And boy, this movie was big. I remember seeing the movie theater, and I think I may have seen it one more, but I was done after 2 times.
Nope.
And this is Misery. Made over $61 million in its original theatrical run. Of course, James Caan and Kathy Bates star. After a famous author is rescued from a car crash by a fan of his novels, he comes to realize that the care he is receiving is only the beginning of a nightmare of captivity and abuse. Directed by Rob Reiner, writer Stephen King, based on his book, and William Goldman, stars James Caan, Kathy Bates, and Richard Farnsworth. Kyle, give us some trivia on Misery.
Yeah, James Caan once showed up to the set hungover. Really? James Caan, of all people? Who would have thunk that? And of all the scenes he shot that day were unusable. Rob Reiner told Caan that he had to do the scenes again because there was a problem at the lab. When Caan learned it had nothing to do with the labs, he offered to cover the money he lost the studio. So good on him for that. Ann Wilkes was ranked as the 17th most iconic villain in the American Film Institute's list of 100 heroes and villains. There's another piece of trivia, but I want to have a discussion before we talk about that piece of trivia, Kevin.
All right.
Because in my opinion, the Kathy Bates performance in this movie is maybe one of the biggest star-making performances of all time. This movie put Kathy Bates on the map in a way I haven't seen an actor or actress really be put on the map before.
I would challenge you with Pretty Woman.
That's close, but
which came out this year as well.
Yeah. Julia had at least done a couple of things there.
Right.
Kathy, nobody knew who Kathy Bates was. I mean, that's the thing. And she won the Oscar from this. And the role was just so mind-blowing, and she was so good at it. She still to this day spoofs it for fun and lives with it. And it was so good that Stephen King was so impressed with Kathy Bates' performance in this film that he wrote 2 more roles for her later. Dolores Claiborne was written with Bates in mind specifically, and Bates later starred in the film adaptation of the book. King also wrote the script for the TV miniseries The Stand. In his original novel featured a male character named Ray Flowers. Upon hearing that Bates wanted to be involved in the miniseries, King personally rewrote the part as a woman, Ray Flowers, just so Bates could play the part uncredited. This is also a very important Stephen King thing because this was one of the first films to come out after Stephen King got full control over his properties after the disaster that happened in the 80s, culminating with the events of The Lawnmower Man. And I mean, this film, yeah, it's scary as hell. She is so good in this, but the performances are so good, and it is such a powerful film in just the aspect. And I remember everybody was talking about this film, everybody was talking about her performances, and she ran away with the Academy Award that year.
You know what was shocking to me more about this film, anything else, was its director, Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
Because of the films he's done. And let me spit. Of course, we all know him from All in the Family, Meathead. But in 84, we're starting with 84. This is Spinal Tap. 1985, The Sure Thing. 86, Stand By Me. 87, The Princess Bride. 89, When Harry Met Sally. Then he takes a turn and does this in 90, Misery. 92, A Few Good Men. He goes on to do The American President in 95. He does Ghost of Mississippi. So he does a variety, but he was like not known for doing like a horror film, which I thought was fascinating with all these other great films that he did. But these type of movies where there's like body torture and stuff like that, I just, it has the very hard scene to watch with the feet and all that kind of stuff. But I can't return to this thing. I just can't. I don't care, how good the performances are. I just can't watch it. Lacey?
Nope.
Yep. Nope. One word for Lacey. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Kyle? Any last things?
I agree with you. This is not exactly what I would call a rewatchable film, but I think still one of the biggest breakout roles for any actor or actress in my lifetime. Without a question, because
it's so weird to watch her. I mean, she's doing like a Matlock series. She's Matlock now. But she is freaking funny as well.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite things was the multi-episode arc she did with Big Bang Theory as one of the moms. She was just hilarious. And she's just been in so many other things that I like her in, that she's done well.
Fried Green Tomatoes, man. She was so like frumpy, like and sweet, and you're just like, what? And then this, and I was like, nope.
I think that's the thing about her performance in Misery, though. As insane as she is and as scary as she is, there's still like this, like she plays it off with this quality of like, if you were just to meet this woman, she would seem like this nice woman. And she's just obsessed with James Caan. And it's such an amazing performance that, and again, just so powerful. And
unfortunately, it's an amazing performance I'll never watch again. I like amazing performances. I'll keep watching. I just can't watch that movie. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap things up here. I got a big question for you. So the big question we ask, because these are 1990 films, is these movies were released in 1990 but filmed in 89 or earlier. Which of these films felt like 80s films or felt like 90s films?
Okay. I can throw out a couple that come to mind pretty quickly. Child's Play 2 is 80s. Robot Jocks is 80s.
Oh, yes.
Guns is definitely 80s.
Guns?
Guns.
Yeah. Oh, totally 80s.
Yeah.
So, I felt like Guns was filmed in 85 and just held over till 90.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go even just by looking at the cover of Graffiti Bridge. Like, I feel like Prince was definitely like an 80s. It was just definitely 80s.
Right.
Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't judge, but yeah.
I think Dances with Wolves, even though it's a period piece, it feels like a 90s film. It really does. And especially what we get from Kevin Costner going forward. Predator 2 kind of feels early 90s action because it's supposed to take place in the near future. And it just felt like things were getting worse in the LA area anyway. So it felt like 90s stuff. Home Alone, it's kind of tough to tell, but I mean, it's right there, I think. So,
Home Alone 2 was definitely had the 90s feel. I think once you got out of the house and into the hotel, I feel like that's the difference between the 80s and the 90s feel.
3 Men and a Little Ladies felt 80s to me because I think they still were wearing the same 80s outfits as they were in the first film. I just feel like that still feels a little 80s there. Kyle, any last thoughts about that?
I would just say also that we're getting to that point now where the movies are trending more towards 90s than they are 80s because we're getting to the end of the year. So a lot of these films may have been filming in late 89, but a lot of them were starting to get edited with 90s sensibilities.
This is true.
And I will say Kid is definitely an 80s feel still.
Oh, totally 80s feel. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kid. Find it. It's free on HBO free on YouTube, guys. I think it's only like an hour and a half or two. It's not too long. But give me your final thoughts on November of 1990, Kyle.
It's an interesting month because when you look at the movies we covered, it feels like the first half of these movies felt like they were setting up the era of directed video and directed DVD that we experienced, especially in the starting in probably like 91, 92, where that became a really big thing. But you have so many huge and important films in this too, whether you're talking Dances with Wolves, Home Alone, even movies like Predator 2 and Rescuers Down Under, which, you know, they're just important films, and they've held up or are important because of the franchise they represent or whatever. And it's a very interesting month that shows, I think, the dichotomy of both sides of film at this point. The strong movies in the theater, powerful film movies in the theater, but we're making movies now that don't have theatrical success, but guess what? We're going to pump them out on VHS, DVD at the time, and guess what? They're going to find a whole new life there.
Yep, that's excellently said. Lacey, what about you? Final thoughts on November of 1990?
I gotta say, I kind of feel like I should have watched Rocky as they came out. I do think you guys, we had a lot of sequels this year, like this month, but then the one that was huge, that with Home Alone, where it spawned so many sequels, or a couple of sequels. I think this is just a solid month. I feel like I would have been in the theater a lot this month. Between Predator and 3 Minute Little Lady and Rescue. I mean, I feel like I was in the theater a lot this month. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a great point, because I definitely was, And,
a lot of sequels, though, man. That's a lot of sequels.
Yeah. I want to say too. So, and I was talking about this recently. There was a video store in my local town here, Santa Barbara, and I want to say it might have been this year, if I'm trying to remember correctly here, that it was called Video Schmidio. Great name. And I remember the kid that was working behind the counter for years, then graduated to like a manager, and ended up buying the store over from the previous owners.
Oh, cool.
They had this contest every year with the Oscars, and they gave you the list of all the Oscar nominations, and you had to pick who would win out of all of them. And then you had to turn it in at a certain time before the Oscars went. And then the winner would win a free movie rental a day for an entire year. Well, I ended up winning it. However, what sucked was that I tied with someone else. So instead of giving, a rental every single day for an entire year to both of us, we each got 6 months. So I utilized it every single day. I did not skip one day. Went in there every day, got my free rental, and I felt like this was, it might have been maybe 91, but I'm pretty sure it was 90. It feels like it was during that time though. But I would between that of seeing the movies, and there was a lot of these that I did see these in the theater, and then some of them, of course, I found out later on home video. Andy Sedaris, anyone? So yeah, there we go. Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap things up. We want to tell you what's coming next. We have one more month to celebrate of this 1990 year. We have been through a lot. We've discussed a lot about these films, learned about a lot of films, and there's still a few good bangers out there coming up next, guys, for December of 1990. And a few of them we have there is Kindergarten Cop, Edward Scissorhands, Godfather Part 3, The Rookie with Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen, The Grifters with John Cusack and Angelica Houston, and Green Card, just to name a few. We also got Cyrano de Bergerac. Someone's having a pretty good month there, if you think about it. You got Bonfire, The Vanities. So we got some good ones to come to. Some I can't wait to not talk about as well. But we're also going to be celebrating the award season, the Oscars, giving nods to this year, and of course our favorite, the Golden Razzies. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
So as far as the movies of December of 1990, I think what's interesting about this is you have a couple of really big bangers, and you have a movie that at the time everybody was talking about and excited about because of the book they were covering and what they were doing with the film and the cast in it, and it turned into one of the biggest bombs in Hollywood history.
Don't say the name.
Yeah, I'm not. We're going to save that. That's teasing. That's a tease for those of you who don't know.
I know which one you're talking about too.
And just an interesting group. But Kevin, the truth of the matter is, I know you're in for December 1990 because you're about the Abraxas guardian of the universe of it all.
If you're watching the video, you can see our QR code again. Please hit that, and please share and check out our website with all of our other awesome podcasts on the Fandom Podcast Network. You can find Time Warp and all of us here on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, at Fandom Podcast Network or at FanPod Network, depending which one you're doing there. Lacey, how can we find you?
You can find me here, Bob. You know what? I'm really an in-person kind of gal, so you can find me at Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture, wandering about in April. I think that's the next convention I'm going to.
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, make sure you hit her up at Dragon Con. So yeah.
Yes, in August.
Kyle, sir, how can we find you?
You can find me attempting to steal a Gundam from Japan so I can show the people in Robot Jocks what a real mecha robot can do. But you can, of course, find me all over the Fandom Podcast Network. You can find me on the social medias, on X and Blue Sky at AKyleW, on Instagram at Threads at AKyleFandom, and, of course, all over our wonderful Facebook groups. You can find me as Kyle Wagner on Facebook. And, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Also, find us on TeePublic. You can get this cool this cool Time Warp T-shirt that I have here on the Fandom Podcast Network section. Just search Fandom Podcast Network on TeePublic. Give us a little purchase there. Helps us keep the lights on here in the time machines. Appreciate that. And thank you for joining us here at Time Warp on the Fandom Podcast Network. My name is Kevin. You can find me on all of the socials at Spartan_Phoenix, including Blue Sky. So make sure you check this out, and please share us out, please, and subscribe to the network as well. Thank you guys for hanging in with us for November of 1990. I'd like to thank my co-host, Lacey and Kyle. Thank you guys as always. I love doing this with you. And Lacey, I also want to just shout out and say thank you again for letting us visit you recently.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, me and my lovely wife, Erin, came out there and hung out with my daughter, Camille. It was a lot of fun. So we really, really appreciate your hospitality and your wonderful movie knowledge, and the collection that you have there is so much fun to always visit.
Wait. Her now complete collection, because she has a copy of Chud.
She does have a copy of Chud. We threatened her that we were going to bring a copy of Chud because we felt that every collection deserved to have it. I think she still has it. I don't know if she's logged it in yet, though, Kyle.
It's still over on the Legos table.
She's looking at it, giving it the eye, going,
yep. I'm going to have to finish building my Death Star before I decide.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Kyle. And thank you, everyone out there, for supporting the Fandom Podcast Network. And as always, we always say here, until next time, we will see you back in time. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time for Time Warp.